Welcome, I'm your theloladass. So today I'm gonna bring you Rebels Under the Spell of Magic Chapter 2. The first chapter came a long time and like I said, I only started playing visual novels half of 2021. So this was before that, the first chapter was before that, so I never played the first one. Yeah, that was like you did like I wasn't paying attention to visual novels because of what I had in my mind that it was a lot of text. But then when I started playing like the first visual novel, I started to say, okay, visual novels can be good. So I missed the first chapter, but in this one they explain a little bit of what happened on the first chapter, a little bit of course. But one thing that I will say to developers is implement the recap like Scarlet Hollow as the recap that you can they tell a little bit of the important things of the previous episodes. So in here they could implement that, like explaining what happened, the important things of the first chapter or the other on, and then like always doing that for next chapters. So that will be always a good thing to implement like that. If a player that never played the first chapter, or then like when they released the first chapter and the player never played the first and the second, with that recap button they could understand a little bit of the story. So I think it will be a good thing to implement, like for this type of games that release episodes and chapters like this, because they come separate from each other. I think that it's a good idea to implement. But that is my opinion, because like that the player can understand a little bit of the story. This game came out 23rd March, but the game had a bug that at a certain point the text wouldn't appear, so that's why I didn't play on that day because of that problem. But the developer fixed it, but of course I had other games then to play. Other thing is that the game in terms of it had some grammatical errors because they need to send to their, like they said, send to the editor to see if everything was well written already or not. Now today they released like a patch that say that they already, it's like almost 100% the text without any error, so that's a good thing. Of course you can find here and there some errors in terms of misspelling. It's better to say misspelling instead of errors, but that they can fix, they can change that in time. Now they are gonna add some achievements for the game, so that's a good thing too. So the game is developed and published by Brotherhood Games, so it's from their own pockets that they are doing, they don't have a publisher. So this game, you follow this character Folken from, like on chapter 1 is like to know who is Folken. For what I understand is understand who is Folken. On chapter 2, this one is Folken, this character starts his adventure with a friend of him. So it's all around of this character of Folken that's gonna do. Other thing is like I always say, visual novels need to have a good story. This game has a good story. Needs to have good artwork. If you go on Steam page, you see that has a good artwork. And in terms of longevity, like I always say, if you have multiple endings, shoot for hours. If you only had one ending, 4 to 6 hours. Like that, the player doesn't get tired of the game. This game you have choice, like that the path you go is always different, but only has one ending. The path is only to see different, it's like to be different playthroughs that the players can have, but the ending is always the same, so don't think that there is multiple ends in the game. So let's start here with the game. So Brotherhood Games. Here we go. But the game seems interesting in terms of story, artwork seems very good. Okay, chapter 2, Vengeance. It's as if nature itself will emphasize on the tragic event that happened. Not even lighting and thunder can amplify the efficacy to reflect the mood that the rain alone bestows. It's ironic that what is regarded as the elixir of life, but at the same time it can create a hazardous environment to be in. Even though it doesn't hurt anyone itself, it can still create difficult obstacles as it clings to whatever it touches. Cloves absorb water and get heavy, which only adds to the feebleness that is already in effect. The ground mixes itself with the water and becomes muddy, making every step slippery. A lot of raining. Okay, a kid with a sword. The kid walked through the rain along a straight path in a forest he has never heard or visited before. He looks lost, sad and empty. He is visible almost out of strength and might collapse any second. He must have been traveling for hours and hours. The scent of the storm is getting dangerously close. Finding or building a shelter should be the number one priority at this point. Though building one is out of the question with the little strength the boy has left. He can only press forward and try to find something. No build is that easy in here. Poor kids. He's like, where is a building? And he's like, why is carrying a sword? Of course, if you play this first chapter, you can understand. But because I didn't play, I'm a little bit lost of why the kid has a sword. Of course. It's at that moment when everything seems lost that he finds a single house made out of wood in the middle of the forest. In disbelief, he stops in his tracks and takes a look at the house, almost as if making sure that it's not an illusion. It's even lighted from inside. Someone might be living there. The kid makes a step forward just before something changes. The front door opens with a bright light that shines down on him as if to welcome him home. Only the silhouette of a person can be standing at the door frame, staring down on the child. None of them move for a moment. Then the person steps out of the house to confront the kid. It's an old man with a mixed look of confusion and deliberation on his face. Quite the night to wandering around in the forest, especially alone. The boy doesn't answer. His eyes just go back and forth between the old man and the potential shelter, much to the knowledge of the man. Where are you from? Still no answer. Master Ortaf, that is the old man, takes a moment to analyze the situation. The kid is dragging a huge sword with him, which makes Master Ortaf slightly cautious in case it has magical abilities. But the weapon is too heavy to be wielded, so where's the harm? He's also clearly completely worn out, and the old man even sees a few bloodstains on his clothes. What happened to you? The boy stares at the old man with tear-filled eyes. Words he tries to speak won't leave his lips. He wants to give a proper answer, but the more he thinks about it, the less he remembers. Why don't you come inside to warm up? I can make you something to eat, so you can get full strength again. What do you say? He stretched out his arm towards the front door to indicate free passageway. The kid looks to the ends of the house and the bright light that shines out of it. His jaw drops and he slowly walks forwards, as if being pulled inside. He enters the dwelling. It is warm around him and the lights brighten even more. Only a moan leaves the boy's wide open mouth. He doesn't have strength left to speak properly. The many colors are powerful and intense. Where he's from, there's mostly only white. Then the boy feels his eyes close against his own will and the room begins to spin until there is a loud thud. Everything goes black. So he fainted right off because tired, starving, so he fainted. Because I think it went black, so. This is not the end for the kid, but rather the beginning of his new life. There is no dream, only a brief moment of calm darkness. And no time later, the boy awakens in a tidy and clean room. The sun shines over his head through the window. It is morning. A wet towel falls down from his forehead as he sits upright. He must have a fever. Still weak, he spots up a cup of tea in front of him and a plate with bread and some other form of pastry he has never seen before. Sitting on the ground, he wonders why he hasn't been moved to the bed. But on second thought, he prefers it like this. The corner of the room gives him comfort. He has an overview of the whole room and no one can sneak up behind him. He takes the pastry, bites into it, and is blown away by its deliciousness as the flavor of apples seep through his taste receptors, instantly rejuvenating him. Then he sees the hot steam rising from the tea and takes a sip. He lets himself rest again against the wall with a refreshed and strengthened feeling. Even so, he knows that he is still sick and he needs to be careful not to overexert himself. Actually, he should be thankful to be alive at all. He takes a look around the bedroom. There's really not much to it. It only contains a bed, a shelf with books, and a closet. It looks like a room that has never really been used before, but it's not dusty either. There is no blanket on the bed. It's probably the white one he has covered with on the ground. And there is a lamp on the shelf that gives off a colorful light. There it is. It's a magical lamp. The kid looks at the alluring colors and wonders where its power source is. Oh, you are awake. The boy immediately puts down the cup and grabs the large sword protectively in his arms. Don't worry, I'm not going to take it away from you. I just want to check on you. There's a brief silence between them as the kid doesn't know how to respond to the situation. How's your fever? The boy touches his forehead to check the temperature, but he can't tell, so he just shrugs his shoulders. Master Taff reaches out his hand to signal the attempt of direct contact. Can I? The boy only stares at the hand and its wrinkled skin, but he doesn't approve nor disapprove, which gives Master Ortaf the opportunity to get closer. If there really was a thing the kid did not to happen, he will show it properly. He lays his hand on the boy's forehead, then he turns the hand around to touch the forehead with the backside of his hand. The sequence of movement is slow and carry. None of the sort kid will ever receive back where he's from. Looks like the temperature hasn't gone down yet. You should try to get some more rest. Sleep is your best medicine. The two look at each other for a second. It's hard to tell what the boy is feeling and thinking or what he must be going through, and he hasn't even spoken a single word yet. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't properly introduced myself, have I? I'm Master Masson Ortav. What's your name? Meta Balford. Balford? Master Ortav is sure to have heard that name before, but he can't quite put the puzzle piece together. But more importantly, he's just happy that the boy can speak at all, and that there doesn't seem to be any traumatic brain injury. Well done, Meta. It's nice to meet you. This is a spare room that I have. You can stay in here as long as you want. So please try to focus on recovering. There's no need to rush. He picks up the wet towel from the floor. I'll bring a new towel to help bring down the fever. I'll be right back. Meta watched the old man walk out of the room and close the door behind him. He eases his grip on the sword and leans back. His thoughts are such a mess that his head instantly acts from trying to conceive a specific thought. So he lets go of them and stares at the bread on the plate, which he hasn't eaten yet. His stomach starts to growl just by looking at it. He leans forward and supports his weight with one hand on the floor. With the other hand he grabs the bread and starts to eat it with a relieved face before he covers himself with the bed sheet to rest some more. The sickness is making him weary and he falls asleep before the old man returns with a new towel. It's still morning, but with a lot of sleep the day passes by faster than a swirly on a deep dive. So he had a fever. It takes a few days for Meta to recover. He hasn't said much in all that time, and it takes him even more days before he dares to descend the stairs to the ground floor for the first time. So here it is, a little bit of the artwork that they have, very good. Meta sits down on the stairs and watches the old man for a while. Master Taff hasn't noticed him yet. There are several books on the table that were taken off the shelf. It's hard to say what they are about from Meta's position, but the accumulated knowledge of that shelf impresses him. The old man is standing on the stool to help him reach the books at the top of the shelf. What could he be searching for? What are you doing? Master Taff startles and almost loses his balance on the stool. He turns his head over to Matt while holding one of his most content-rich books in his hands. Matt, please don't startle me like that. Sorry. So, you have finally decided to come down here. Does that mean you are feeling well again? Meta takes a moment to actually ask himself inwardly how he's doing, but there is no answer. There is only this void, suppressing all feelings. So he just gives the answer that he is expected to say. I'm okay. Master Ortav steps down from the stool, puts the book on the table and faces Meta closer. I'm glad to hear that. He hesitates for a moment. Meta, we need to have a talk sooner or later, so we might as well get it over with now. Did I ask you to do something wrong? Insecurely, he hops up one of the stair steps. No, nothing like that. I just need to know who exactly I'm dealing with. You have been here for about a week, but you haven't said much yet. Matt looks Master Ortav in the eyes, but he doesn't know how to react. From Master Ortav's perspective, it's as if staring down on a scarred and lonely puppy. Let's start with the basics, shall we? Why are you here, Meta Balford? Did you run away from home? Meta looks down and shrugs his shoulders. I was just... Suddenly he notes that he can't finish the sentence and he has to think really hard about how and why he has ended up here in the first place. Some still images rush through his mind, most of them too fast to recognize, and some too blurred to understand. It was dark and snowing. Snowing? He looks out of the window. There is no time of the year where snow falls in this region, which means that the kid must have come from a snow-clad east. It was very loud. There were people running around and screaming. Screaming? What happened? Meta closes his eyes as if his face twists. People died. Friends? Family? He opens his eyes and two streams of tears run down his face. Master Taff rushes to the boy, sits next to him and pulls him closer with his arms to comfort him. It's okay, you are safe. Do you remember who the attacker was? Matt looks in straight line with the tears still on his face. The void has returned. No. So this is to understand a little bit of backstory of Meta. How did you escape? I don't remember. One moment I was there amidst the screaming, and the other I was walking through the rain in this forest. The two still sit next to each other for a short while in silence. They don't even talk. Look, you can stay here for as long as you want, okay? I'm not going to push you out of the house. The words are kind, but there is no reaction from Meta. This is all probably a little much for him right now. Do you even want to stay? There is no yes or no, but a shy nod, which is a clear and strong enough answer to Master Taff. Don't worry. He speaks in an alleviating way as he stands up again. We'll find out what happened there. I have some trustworthy source, and once we figure everything out, you'll be free to decide whatever you want to do. He pats Matt on his shoulder. I'll prepare dinner for us. I will call you when it's ready, okay? Matt nods and goes back up the stairs to return to his bedroom, where he awaits to be called. Thus, his daily life with Master Taff begins. Weeks have gone by and Matt is slowly but surely able to call this new place his home. He hasn't received any news yet about his hometown and is not even sure if he wants to hear it. For some reason he doesn't remember much anyway, and the little that he does he will prefer to forget. So something happened on his hometown, but we don't know what. One specific day he hears more than a single pair of footsteps in the house. Sure, the old man uses a cane, but Matt is already accustomed to it. The noise he's hearing emerges from more than just one person. Curious, he leaves his room to investigate who is in the house. He follows the noise to a room at the back, which he has never entered before. Halting in front of the shut door, he can make out the voice of Master Taff and a female person. To a curious Matt will not dare to insolently open the door and intrude. No, but there is something else he can do. The door has a keyhole. Even though it feels wrong to spy on them, he can't stop himself from doing so as he bends over to look through the keyhole and tries to hear their conversation. The room they are in is pretty fancy compared to the rest of the house, but it probably looks bigger than it actually is. It seems to be the sort of room to retreat to find your peace and read a book. Surely you are aware of that, right? The young woman is dressed in black and makes a mysterious impression, but she has a nice smile and her black hair emits a colorful shine. Beautiful, who is she? Don't worry, I'm cautious. I will not give up everything we have worked for so easily, but you have to keep your enemies close, right? She giggles and wanders around the table in a way that might look like a subtle dance. That will also apply for your enemies, right? But anyway, I trust that you know what you are doing. You are the wisest of us after all. I'm just an old man, that's all. So, what do you invite me over for? Ah, yes, two things actually. First of all, did something tragic happen in the area of Miss City recently? She suddenly stops her wandering and puts her hands on the table. How do you know that? So, there was an incident. Tell me about it. She sinks one of her hands into her hair with a thoughtful face. There was a clan family in Miss City who called themselves Seekers. Have you heard of them? Seekers? If I recall correct, they are the ones who gathered the legendary weapons from the time of the Great War, right? Precisely. But truth to be told, I don't understand that obsession. There are far better weapons out there nowadays, and far less flawed ones to top with. But I think there must be more to it than it seems, because the consulate has suddenly decided to eradicate the bloodline of the Seekers, and they even sent the Alphas to do the job. The Alphas? How many of them? I think 7. Do you realize how serious the consulate is to take matters this far? Yes, interesting. Anyway, these all lies in the past now, and will probably never unfold the reason behind it. Not necessarily. He lifts his head as if filled with predominance. I have had a new guest for a few weeks, a boy from Miss City. There you go. Matt is from Miss City. Her eyes widen in surprise. Is he? He might be the last survivor of the Seekers. Oh, there we go. We are a Seeker. Meta is a Seeker. He even carries one of the legendary weapons with him. There we go. An explanation to who is from where Meta is and what he is at the same time. No way. This could be a huge asset for us. She starts to walk back and forth in excitement. If we can find out why the consulate was so scared of them, then we could use him to our advantage. Those were my thoughts too. He might even fight for our cause once he matures, but it will take a lot of time and work. You have to make sure that he stays. You hear me? You must. She suddenly stops in her tracks as she interrupts her sentence and bends down. Found you! The blood purple eyes with a seemingly endless depth stares at Meta through the keyhole. Shocked, Meta trips backwards and runs back into his room as fast as he can. So she felt his presence in there. A few moments later, he is visited by Master Ortath. The boy is cocooned in the corner, completely wrapped with the blanket, firmly hugging the sword and avoiding eye contact at all costs. It's as if he was hopeful that no one had noticed him before, or that he could elude himself by pretending to have been in this room the whole time. How long were you listening? I didn't hear anything, really. Please forgive me. His eyes fill up with tears and his expression becomes desperate. Please don't throw me out. Please. Master Ortath looks at him silent as Meta keeps wailing away. It's okay, you can stay. Just don't do that ever again. The whining stops and Meta's face becomes bright and hopeful again. He nods several times and in his mind he already prepares the constitution he needs to keep staying at this place. Any other information or feeling must be suppressed and forgotten. This resolution has immense power inside the head of this child, and it will have great impact on his future. Oh, what's happening? Woo, woo. For not too far, Folken sees the store-face Meta makes while still sleeping. He's clearly having a nightmare of some sort. It's not surprising after everything that happened yesterday. So what happened yesterday is from chapter 1 that if you want to know, you need to play the first chapter. And he was so angry at Folken afterwards. Should we wake Meta up and release him from his nightmare? Wake up Meta up, try to get some sleep yourself. No, wake up Meta. So there you go, the choice that you're gonna have that goes to different paths but only has one ending, the game. Like, wake up! Huh? Slowly waking up from his dream, Meta can feel someone shaking his shoulder. He turns on his back and hurriedly opens his eyes. Meta wakes up to an uncomfortable situation with Folken staring at him from upside down, but it takes him a few blinks before he realizes the awkwardness of it. What are you doing? You are having a nightmare. Are you alright? No, with you this close, there is no way I can be alright. Meta pushes his face away and he sits upright, causing a few bones in his body to click. Alright, I only meant well. I know. So this Folken and this Meta now. So that was the past, like he was remembering something on the past. Still, there is no reason for you to try to kiss me. Meta catches himself trying to mock Folken in an attempt to be funny, which isn't usually like him at all, especially with an improper situation like this. What? I wasn't. Still sitting on the ground, Meta looks down on the grass to think back on his dream. Folken looks at him all tensed up, hoping that Meta is not angry at him anymore. Why am I remembering this now? He speaks so silently that Folken barely makes out the words. It's like Meta was only thinking the words, but he spoke them out loud unintentionally. What do you mean? Huh? Oh, I just remember part of my past with Master Taff that I apparently had forgotten, willingly. Willingly? What part? It was during one of the first few weeks of me living here, where I overheard a secretive conversation between Master Taff and a woman with black hair. They seemed to know each other well, and the woman appeared to be a person with influence. That's when I recognized that Master Taff was in some sort of cult or faction. They were talking about me and the possibility to somehow use me against the consulate. But I didn't care. As long as I could stay here, I was willing to discard everything else. Use you? That doesn't sound like Master Taff. Maybe it was just a dream after all. Meta casts an angry glance at Folken as if wanting to expose the silliness of his remark by again comparing the length of his stay, but Meta sucks it up. No, the memories are true. I remember the words as clear as day. Master Taff was involved in some dubious things. He finally stands up while speaking. Could this be what Darga was talking about? That he was a member of the cluster Shorda? So again, you need to play the first chapter to understand what happened, because to talk about this, about Darga, and say that Darga say that Master Taff was a member of cluster Shorda. But in here says member, but it's member. That is some grammatical things that errors that they still need to fix. What is this cluster short anyway? I have never heard of it. That doesn't surprise me. The tone of his answer is such that it is unclear whether he wants to say that they obscure themselves well to not be known, or that folk is simply dumb or ignorant to never have heard of them. They are a mysterious group of C-class magi who aim to bring the hierarchy back to how it was before the appearance of the magic weapons. Yeah, because they were talking about magic weapons. Always say things true. To how it was before? How was it before? You don't know? Folken looks at Meta reluctantly, unsure if this is something he should know. Then he immediately shakes his head. Before the Great War, there were only C-class magi and nothing else. They were simply called magi, because there was no differential. They were the ones ruling the segments. But then, as the magic yappers arose, there was suddenly the possibility to become an A-class magus, who were not only able to cast magic themselves, but also from those yappers. Okay? Do you see what I'm getting at? I'm not sure. I'm saying that every magi from that time who didn't become an A-class magi was suddenly stripped of his or her privilege of ruling. Yeah, because before Great War, only exists C-class magi, that they were the rulers. But then appeared the A-class magi. Interesting. Of course they didn't like that, but most of them complied with the new hierarchy. Except for the cluster Shorda, right? Exactly, now you're getting it. So how will they try to reverse any of that? A sudden flash of thought goes through his head, remembering his discussion with Master Taf about lavation, which is said to be able to bring balance to the segments. Maybe they are after the lavation too? I don't know and I don't care. He lets out an ironic chuckle. But back to the initial topic. It's funny how I knew about Ortaf's true side all along but chose to forget it, so you let me stay here. I guess there are more questions worth asking Darga than I thought. Let's see if we get the chance to. So we're gonna try to go to Darga. Meta taps the dry dirt off his clothes and walks towards the well that seems to have been spared from the fire. I like how they make the characters walk like this, like tuk, tuk, tuk. Let's wash our bodies from the smoke and the ash and drink some water. Folken follows Meta to the well as he walks closely around the ash of the house. The well-carved logs have perished and the marble walls have turned to chalk. What was once a nice and warm home for both of them has abruptly turned to nothingness. Looking at the still glowing ash he is stepping right next to, Folken stopping his tracks to think. Say, the tank master Ortaf was to create his own coins should still be here somewhere underneath that pile over there, right? Meta turns around and looks at the heap of ash and charred woods. You are right. That tank was designed to withstand high temperatures. Folken walks into the black and red and thoroughly scans the ground for something to save. Don't waste your energy. That container is probably not usable anymore, because all operator pipes and connections around it have burned down. And even if it was still operational, it is so heavy that there is no way to take it with us. Folken goes down to his knees and takes a handful of burnt composite. With his other hand he sweeps off the lighter particles until the more solid parts remain, which he shows to Meta. No, but we can retrieve its products. With a few gold coins in his hands, Folken smiles at Meta and jumps to his position to the well. He pulls up the bucket filled with water and washes the coins in it. Meta watches him and especially his iconic smile with a feeling of hate that he tries to smother. Even though the coins will certainly help them to sustain a while longer, Meta can't help but feel offended by Folken freely taking something of value from Master Ortaf's grave without a second thought, as if nothing has happened. Okay, so this was the house of Master Taf. They were leaving this shoe, Meta and Folken. It seems that Darga fight against Master Ortaf, burned the house and killed Master Ortaf too, because there was the grave. Okay. The saying once a thief, always a thief seems to hit spot with you. Okay, a little bit of backstory for Folken. He was a thief. Folken takes the clean coins out of the water and faces Meta as if being attacked. This isn't stealing. No? Then what it is? Don't you think Master Taf will want us to use them? You want me to use them. He stretches out his hand, indicating that he demands the receivement of the bespoken item. Folken looks at the 3 gold coins in his hand. Never has he had so much money in his possession, and he can't deny how strong of a charm this toy affects him. But he believes himself to have matured enough during the past weeks to be able to overcome such greed. And above all, he doesn't want to anger Meta more than he already is or put their friendship at risk. Here, the weight of the coins leaves his hand as they drop onto Meta's. With the smile back on his face and without remorse, Folken takes the bucket of water and starts to wash himself. Meta looks through at the coins in his hands. To have acted like he has feels silly and childish now. This is not like him at all, but he can't undo what has been done, so he proceeds normally and puts the coins into his pocket. With heavy legs, he joins Folken at the well, who is already washing his topless body. Amicably, he hands over a bucket of fresh water to Meta with a smile. Meta takes off his shirt first, and then takes the bucket to pour the water over his naked body. The water is so cold that it temporarily blocks his air passage and causes him to hyperventilate for a few seconds. This dreadful feeling is a recurring thing with cold water, and he despises it, but he tries not to show it. And as his skin adapts to the lower temperature, it becomes easier to handle. Folken, however, does not appear to have any issues with the coldness. They take a few minutes to wash their bodies of the dirt and to get rid of the smoke smell that surrounds them. Afterwards, they put their clothes back on and equip themselves with their yappery. So, what's the plan? Are we still going after Darga? Yes. I know this stubborn proposal was a bit of a snap decision yesterday, but it's the only purpose I have left in my mind. I won't get any peace before I at least get to talk to her. I have a few questions I would like to ask her too. I know I was a little harsh to you yesterday, but you really don't have to come with me. I won't lie that I'm a little scared. I think there's a reason why Master Tav told me to run should I ever face a member of Alpha, but I also think I have to do this, so Darga is a Alpha too. The two stare at each other as if measuring their resolution. Then let's try to survive this day. Yes. Let's go to Domen first. We can get a proper meal there to get strength. From there we can directly walk all the way up north to the castle. Folken agrees to the basic plan, and as soon as they finish their preparations they start their new perilous journey in a world of dangers at every corner. And like that, he goes on his first adventure, Folken. So we have interrogation points or someone. Let's try this one first. That is as a face of someone. Let's try this one. What it is. See what means that. I think it means that we're gonna find someone, right? I think it means that. Considering the circumstance, the weather seems disgustingly cold for today. But only Matt is really bothered by it. Folken has that ever so slight smile on his face. The excitement of a new journey has swiftly overtaken his sad feelings of yesterday. But there is one thing ever Matt has to admit. The lovely scent of the surrounding vegetation is a welcome recovery from the maltreat they suffer by the smoke. Folken and Meta take a slightly longer path to Domen. Maybe this decision reflects at least a portion of hesitation, because this is a dangerous undertaking after all, and they are both aware of it. Be that as it may, it's not like they are in a hurry. After a good hour into the journey, but not even halfway to Domen, they arrive at the hillside where they spot a familiar person up ahead. Look, Meta, it's Elaema. Yeah, I see her. What is she doing? Folken waves at her, but she doesn't notice them, and as Folken and Meta close in on her, they can tell why. So they know this person that is called Elaema. Okay, like it seems like a mage. No, but it has a shovel. So like someone that likes to collect something. Fully distracted by the noise and the glowing effects her magic item is producing, Elaema doesn't notice them at first. She waves the item around seemingly randomly while at the same time doing some tactful hip swings. It doesn't look like training, so the magic item most likely does not have combat type ability. This is not necessarily uncommon, as there are a lot of magic items in use every day with the only purpose of making life a little bit easier for society. The most common items are magical lamps or any light source in general. Eliama. She raises her gaze and responds with a happy face as she sees them. Hey guys, nice to see you. What brings you here? Her words are followed by some weird noise coming off the item, and blinking colors illuminate the grass, which instantly distracts her again. Whoa! What are you doing? I'm searching for rare and valuable metals. There you go. It's like those people that like to search rare items to sell them. She giggles and lays her other hand on the item. And this big girl is helping me with it. What about you? Doing some errands for the old man again? The words hit Folken like a punch in his chest, and his smile fades away as if pulled back into reality from a happy dream. Master Taff is dead. Like a clock that has suddenly stopped ticking, Heliam instantly stops everything she's doing. Because she didn't know. Although she is still smirking, her expression looks weird as she tries to process this newly attained information. What are you talking about? He died last night. He died? Suddenly the clock starts to tick again and she confronts Matt in an incomprehensible way. What do you mean he died? What are you talking about? What happened? Comes Folken too. We were in Domini yesterday and when we came back, it was Darga. The Alpha? Somehow she found out his whereabouts and came to finish him off. She put a hole through him, he died instantly. Her expression slowly turns aghast. What? It's true. No, that can't. She suddenly regains her composure, as if something has drawn on her. Did he fight? He tried to fight her, but she was too strong. Unexpectedly, Elena starts to smile again. I bet this is how you want to die. What do you mean? To die in beta as compared to dying of age, he was very old after all, but a great war veteran like him will not want to go out without a fight. Folk is surprised at how well she is taking this information and how remarkable, so subtle, she just turned something negative into something positive. There is no need for him to be down about it any longer if someone who knew Master Taff for many years can handle the situation better than him, so he gulps the sad emotions down. Even Meta faces his own fears he has had for a couple of years. Seeing Master Taff becoming older and older, and with increasing health issues, he knew that it was just a matter of time. Meta had tried to ignore these scary thoughts since he felt he would not know what to do anymore without the old man around. But now, with that happening yesterday, it's actually not scary anymore, as he was given a new purpose thanks to the battle. What an irony. Still, why would Darga do that? What did he do to her? We don't know either, that's why we are going to the cast to ask her in person. Elima looks concerned. I'm not going to talk you out of this, but now that Master Taff will not want you to endanger yourself so imprudently. Especially you, Meta. He cared for you for many years. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. Huh? I know you have visited Master Taff for many years. Did you ever see another person there aside from us? A woman with black hair? Yeah, I saw that girl. Black hair and a black dress with an overall mysterious appearance. We never talked though. Meta stares wide and he becomes agitated. Who is she? Do you remember her name? Oh gosh, that's so long ago. I can't recall. I don't even think she introduced herself. Interesting. Same as with me. Does she have something to do with Darga? Matt hesitates, he doesn't know the answer to that question. Maybe. Anyway, we still need to do this. She looks into their eyes. Matt's determination is right all over his face, but it's different with Folken. I understand. What about you, Folken? Huh? What about me? You don't need to go if you don't want to. You could stay with me and help me gather valuable materials. His offer clearly throws him off guard, and he looks over to Meta, who nods at him. Sounds look like a good deal. Okay, another choice. Show interests or be confident to go with Meta. No, let's be confident to go with Meta. Folken shakes his head with a warm smile. No, I have to do this. I want to do this. But that's a very kind offer, thank you. Satisfied with his answer, Elaima gives him a silent nod with a smile. Then he looks at Matt with a mocking smile. But more important, what is this stubborn head going to do without me? Like his face, Matt's face is like, You did not just say that. Don't expect me to comfort you when you start to cry. Elaima starts to laugh and gives Folken a thumbs up gesture. Nicely said. Your friendship is surely to grow stronger than both of you think. She walks towards Matt and pats him on his shoulder. You will be okay. I will be okay? Why are you saying that to me? Both Elaima and Folken start to laugh, and even Matt can't resist letting out a small laughter, followed by him shaking his head. The mood revitalizes them all, and Folken and Matt feels ready to move on. By the way, is the corn making machine still in the house? Yes and no. What's that supposed to mean? The house burned down to ash. I don't know if the machine is still intact, but the container itself should be unscathed. All you have to do is dig it up from the rubble. What? No, I have to save it. She puts her item away in her backpack and hurries away from both of them without a proper goodbye. Take care of Folken. She doesn't even wait for an answer as she runs through the grass. Okay. Anyway, let's get going. It's still a while until we reach the city. Folken agrees and they both move on with their journey. But doesn't have anyway the coins there because we took out. In the meantime, a certain someone returns to the castle, so it's Darga. She's been away for far too long, not even attending an important meeting of some sort is she gone for that long. But this time she went all alone, which isn't like her, and she didn't inform anyone about her departure or her plans. Goddamn. Even though people here are talking to each other, wondering where she might be, there's no one really worried about her well-being. She's a strong woman after all, or else she wouldn't be with the Alphas, yes. That's why. Only one person finds herself irritated about her disappearance. Daggerfire returns to the castle that shares her name and to her personal chamber. So this Darga, you can see it as the A, that means Alpha. The room is big and its illustrations are noble as to be expected for the ruler of Segment Sonorum. Though in reality this is the chamber of the previous king that she simply took over, but she changed some of the things to match her preference. Interestingly, the room does not only radiate coldness, as one would assume from her personality, but there are some colorful spots too. Darga enters the room looking tired, and she seems to be reminiscent about the recent events. People she passed by on her way to the chamber were staring a lot, but they greet her with appropriate respect. She walks to the woman-sized mirror at the far end of the room and stops in front of it to look her mirror image in the eyes. There you are. Darga doesn't even turn around. She knows the person this female voice belongs to more than anyone else. I was wondering what all this sorceress was about. To think that you have finally returned after making me worry, and you didn't even come to me first to say hi? Or about, hey Lauria, I'm back. Sorry that I left without saying anything. So Lauria, that is the person that was worried about Darga. Okay. She walks up behind Darga and puts her arms around her in a possessive way. So Lauria, it was the person that was worried about Darga. Okay. No? You could at least say something, you know. Darga's body doesn't react at all as she lets herself be touched by the other woman. Laurie is a playful looking girl with smooth skin and sharp eyes. Most of her body is concealed by a black robe, and there is a blue glowing symbol on her arm, which is the symbol of her faction. She is at all times accompanied by a flaming orb fire, which seems to have a life of its own and even has a face. Okay. I had to take care of something. Spiteful, she pulls her head slightly away from Darga. Don't give me such an unreasonable answer. There are more than enough capable souls here that can take care of things. There is no need for you to go out there, especially alone. What if something happened to you? She runs her fingers along Darga's skin as if sensually caressing her. I can handle myself very well on my own. You should know that. Besides, what about my own appetite for adventure and trouble? Are you talking about free will? Surely, I don't have to remind you that you are an alpha and that you answer to the consulate. And I know that you are powerful, but don't be confident. Don't be too confident. Nowadays there is an increasing number of items out there with terrifying magic abilities. Even you will find yourself in trouble against some of them. Okay? Then it's a good thing that we still have the other members of Alpha whose job is to find and collect these troublesome items, right? Laria tightens her grip around Darga. You can't blindly count on them, so stop it with the excuse. Just don't be reckless anymore. Her tone is not particularly angry, but it's not pleasant to listen to either. Darga doesn't flinch though. She is used to the overreacting nature of Laria. So what was it you had to take care of? It was personal. Darga smiles to show her with obviousness how taunting her answer is. Laria sees it in the mirror, but she still frowns. And now it is no more. Darga pulls up her top to reveal something that almost looks like a pendant, but it's not. It's like an orb of lava that is imbued deep into the flesh between her breasts. The outer side of it has a crystallized and it's only warm, not hot, so it doesn't damage the cloth. But on the inside, it still seems to be active and moving. In all, Lara moves one of her hands closer to that orb, as if wanting to touch it, but she wouldn't dare. Beautiful as ever. Why are you showing it to me all of a sudden? Is it your way of apologizing to me? If so, then it might be working. Her voice becomes flirtatious, a pleasant change from the bothersome tone she had earlier. Darga doesn't reply, she simply wants to look at it herself. Okay, there it is, the pendant. Interesting. Normally she hates the sight of it, because it's a permanent reminder of her past wickedness. But now it's like she can finally make her peace with it. That's the issue you suffered in the past, right? Yes, it happened during my fight against Fearson. That was before our time together. What happened during the fight? We fought for quite some time. He was a tenacious fellow, but eventually he knew that he was going to lose, so he used his remaining powers to launch a final attack. My black metal shield had of course no problem deflecting the attack, but I wasn't aware that he had created a second energy origin with my unprotected range. This became like a fear projectile that tried to pierce through my body. Luckily, I caught a glimpse of it and I was able to gather the black metal in time. Even now the black metal is inside my blood, constantly battling against the lava to prevent it from destroying my flesh. Interesting. Okay, a little bit of backstory of Darga. So there it is, the fire orb that Laria has. She thinks back on the two stones the old man had. There is no feeling of remorse or guilt, only a state of sedateness. Still she wonders, should I have killed them too? The question is so out of context that Laria is genuinely confused about what Darga is talking about. Stop with the nonsense. She jerkily pulls Darga backwards and falls on the royal bed into a puddle of fluff. Laria then hops on the bed herself and sits on top of Darga, who is laying on her back. So we can understand that Laria likes Darga, it seems. Darga doesn't resist, she stays put and looks into her eyes, acknowledging that she will have her way as always. I look at the fire like, whoa! This is one of Lauria's favorite playful occasions. With a big smile, she stares at Darga, then leans into snug with her. Darga puts her arms around Lauria and for a moment they stay like this. It's so comfortable that they almost fall asleep. Then Lauria raises her head with a cunning smile. Let me taste you. Her smile widens as she starts to descend on Darga and puts her lips on her abdominal muscle to kiss them. She then stretches out her tongue and starts to lick her body as she slowly moves her head upwards. You belong to me and only me. Darga doesn't even list as she pictures Folken's face in front of her to notice the resemblance to her past enemy Fearson. With a sigh, she closes her eyes. But the fire like, whoa, I should have killed them after all. But why she did kill? That's the question. Short after midday, Folken and Matt arrives at Domen. The gates are scarcely protected as usual, but there are more than enough guards and the forage roaming the city to emit an assurance of protection. This main market street is busier today than usual. Folken and Matt just jostle their way through the crowd to move forwards. While they are in the midst of the crowd, they catch a glimpse of what is going on. A temporary booth sells tickets for an event. It must be something that is regulated by the city itself, as the booth is protected by several guards and the forage. The guards of this city all have the same outfit with their red capes and blue plumes, and they all wear a metal plate with the engraved symbol of the city. However, it's a different story with the forage. They're dressed like any other adventurer. The only thing that tells them apart are the glowing magical rings around their arms, okay? The color of the rings indicate years of duty, with the number of rings represent the rank. The highest ranked the forest have the 3 of those rings. And the difference between the regular guards and the forest is purely based on magical prowess. The guards are mostly C-class magic, while the forest exclusively consists of D-class magic. Normally, C-class magic are positioned higher in the hierarchy, but there are some that don't have magical abilities qualified or useful for battle. Serving the city this way is the only way for them to keep their dignity. Okay. Folk has to be careful not to draw anger at him by bumping into the people, but he is evasive enough to not do anything clumsy, and they find their way through the mass without incidents. Phew, we made it. Do you know what this was all about? Meta shrugs with his shoulders as they both walk away from the crowd. No, and it doesn't concern us, right? We have other things to keep focused on. Right. They have been walking for several hours, so naturally they are a little tired. And it's only now that they notice now how hungry they are, and as they haven't had a single bite since yesterday evening. A loud growl escapes Folken's stomach, and Meta looks at him with one eyebrow raised. Are you hungry? I thought of all people would be accustomed to skipping a meal or two with the lifestyle you have been living with your whole life. He just tries to hide the fact that he himself is starving. I thought so too. Master Tap must have spoiled you way too much during your stay. Can we just grab something to eat somewhere? Happy not to reveal his own hunger, Meta agrees. Sure, let's go to the Owl Tavern. I used to go there from time to time. It's not fun. Owl Tavern? Never heard of it. Why do you used to go there? Meta makes a frown as though the answer is obvious. To eat and drink? And to take a break, of course? That's all? Seems unlike you. What do you mean? I'm just saying that you are usually the rigorous type of guy. Whenever you set your mind to do something, you do that and only that. Thoughtful whether Folken is right, and if there really is more to it, Meta stays silent. There's a part of him that's aware of something more, but he doesn't quite understand it. Can you lead the way? I don't know where that tavern is. Sure, follow me. Going to the Owl Tavern. They walk along the main road that is connected to the entrance of the ever-blossoming city. In the company of Meta, Folk is not getting into any trouble with anyone, and he enjoys it. It makes him feel like a normal human being, and not like a hopeless waster. It's a feeling that he is slowly trying to get used to. There it is, the tavern. You can see the owl. After a few calls into the streets of this far-reaching city, they arrive at their temporary destination, the Owl Tavern. Here we are. The building is made out of stone and wood and is fairly big with a slightly shorter backside. It is advertised with a magical glowing sign, and there is a wooden carved owl above the entrance. A simple but unique decoration that sets it apart from the other houses around. It's easy to see, because owl, you see a owl, you understand immediately that is this. The dome seems to be equal colorful in day as in night. The different light sources of advertisements, shop names and lanterns really bring the streets to life. This is the place? Whoa, the crafting of that owl looks amazing. I've always envied other people with skills in craftsmanship. I'm talking about real handicraft with no help of magic. If only I had skills like that, I would have been able to live a simpler life. Being noble or rich does not always come with a simple life. Life is complicated for everyone. And besides, it is never too late to start learning something new. If you will really put your mind to it, I'm sure you could do that as well. Maybe you should search for a teacher when all this is over. You think so? Sure, why not? Ask about his life, ask about his dreams. Okay. Ask about his dreams. Do you have any dreams or accomplishments you want to achieve in life? Matt takes a silent moment for himself. He has never given a thought to any of this. I don't know. I never had any ambitions to rise in ranks or to do anything along those lines. As he says that he can't help but feel that his answer is not entirely true, but he doesn't know any better, so how can it be a lie? What about a wife and a children? The question catches Matt complete off guard, making him cough. He then looks at Folken to measure his seriousness. It's too soon for me to think about. Besides, the segments are complicated enough. Enough of this, let's move on. Alright. Well, anyway, I'm wondering what they serve in the tavern. I'm really hungry. I'm curious how the crafting looks on the inside. This isn't sightseeing, Folken. With a straight back, Folken wonders if this is the first time Meta has ever called him by his name or in a meaningful way. Suddenly, the smell of cooked meat invigorates their sense and they are almost magically pulled towards the tavern. Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing. Okay then, let's go inside. Meta begins to walk forward, but notices out of the corner of his eye that Folken doesn't follow him and just stands still like a tree. What's wrong? I was wondering, before we go into the loud and cheerful saloon, can you first explain to me the thing with magical spirit, please? What? Now? Here? Yes. On the verge of suggesting that they should postpone this conversation for after lunch, Matt hesitates. Admitting that he is too hungry to start this talk could indicate that he is weaker than Folken. He can't allow that. Alright. The basics. He makes a gesture with a pause as if unsure where to even begin. Every magical item has a spirit that inhabits it. They exist in all different shapes you can imagine, and they have a consciousness of their own. But not all items are magical, right? How can you tell them apart? You can't. Folken looks at him in confusion. Meta can't help but chuckle while saying the next words. I mean, you can't. Why? What? Why not? If you are adept in these things and know what you are looking for, then you can find out almost immediately by holding the item. But magic is totally new to you, so this is impossible for you right now. You will know what I'm talking about when you gain more experience in it. Folken stretched his sword towards Meta. Then tell me if this Yapon has it or not. He doesn't say nothing. I know it does, I've touched it before. Interesting. You have? The stuttering makes him look embarrassed. I was curious. I found it inside Master Taft's room on top of a wooden desk with a nice looking fabric underneath and candles around it. Now that I think about it, it was almost like an altar. The sword of Folken was on like an altar. Interesting. And then you took it? No, I touched the blade. It looked so alluring, you know, and that's when I knew. So what does the spirit look like? I couldn't see clearly, but it made me aware of how austere it saw me. I never dared to touch it again, and I never again will. Then how do I make contact with it myself? You can visit the spirit of your sword in your dreams. This is the only way of making first contact with them if you are a novice in magic, which you are. The better the relationship with the spirit, the more it will become possible to communicate with it, even while you are awake. But keep in mind that this works vice versa too. Why is it necessary to speak to it in the first place? Not that I'm against it, I'm really looking forward to it. Because it's the only way for it to reveal to you the casting words needed to activate magic abilities. But again, if the relationship is fragile, then it won't tell. And even if you knew the words, it wouldn't work. With a conflict theory, Folken takes the pen out of his pocket that can produce light. How come I could make this pen glow then? I haven't met the spirit of this item yet. Meta paused to evaluate how deep he should dive into this topic. That is because this is a public item. Those work a bit differently. But this is going too far today. I will explain it more detail some other time, okay? Okay, so let's say I managed to make contact with the spirit. How do I improve the relationship with the spirit? What kind of question is that? It chuckles again. How do you improve your relationship with any other people or animal? Don't even try to answer that. You'll figure it out. Can we go in now? Wait. So it seems that Meta can see the magic spirit on the weapons, right? But Folken doesn't know how to do that. He's like a novice in there. Ask about your spirit, ask about his spirit. Ask about your spirit. You say that spirit of my father's sword didn't like you, right? What if the same happens with me? That won't happen. Folken is stupefied by the quick answer. How can you be so certain? For one, you are the direct descendant of Fierce Son. There we go. That's why Darga said that the face of Folken seemed like a Fierce Son. And we can see that now Fierce Son is the father of Folken. Make you a prime choice for the compatibility. But the main reason why it's like me was because of my sword. I can tell those two don't like each other. Okay? I see. So it might not be a good idea to hoard a bunch of weapons, tools, different abilities for the right opportunity, correct? Amazed by how reasonably Folken put two and two together all on his own, Meta continues. Exactly. And there's also the fact of magic skill that determines the amount of magical weapons one can carry. So it's like the spirit of the weapon of Meta doesn't like the spirit of the weapon of Folken. And the spirit that is on the magical spirit that is on the weapon of Folken is Fearsome, the father of Folken, that put that medal, it's better to say like a medal, in the chest of Darga. Interesting. The majority of the population can only handle one magical weapon at once. Carrying more will cause energy drainage, and it will result in blood fever. Blood fever? That sounds nasty. I have never suffered from it, but it is deadly. Is that bad? Yeah, but don't worry, it's not instant. You will feel that something is wrong. Meta has always considered himself to be fairly adept with magic, but it takes a moment to recognize the possibility of Folken having greater potential than himself. So even Meta knows that Folken can be more powerful than him. But then again, there are also quite a lot of people who can carry more than one weapon if they have high magic skills. Maybe you are one of them, who knows? I don't know if there is a limit, but I've seen people with like 10 weapons at once, so... So even the great Meta has a limit when it comes to knowledge, Meta looks at him with a mixture of smile and anger. It's the first time that he feels some form of rivalry towards Folken. Oh, you really want to test me, huh? Me? I wouldn't dare. Now come on, I'm getting impatient. Folker cannot cope with fasting any longer, so he swiftly agrees and falls back to the tavern. They walk towards the entrance of the building and start to hear music and people from inside. Cheerful, they open the door and enter the cozy place. So a little bit of more knowledge about how this world works. That is all about magic. It's like in the beginning you could understand, but then there is magical items that have magical spirits, and then there is a limit at the same time that people can carry weapons. Like, it's kind of confusing, but at the same time you can understand. That's why I like to read them, like that I can understand at the same time. As soon as they enter the exquisite facility, they are immediately met with a cheerful society. There are several round tables to sit at, and there is even a second room on the right side with more people and more space. To the left is another door that most likely leads to the kitchen, and the staircase to the second floor probably leads to the Red Bull bedrooms. As midway was still not too long, the town is still filled with people, but there are few vacant tables, so Folken and Meta sit down on one of them. Sitting down on the table. The material of the table looks to be in comparatively fine condition. You can tell a lot of care went into the management of the interior. There is also a whiff of sticks that fester the air, as is common with such locals. Nothing to be surprised about. In fact, one might not even notice the customer's scent. One of the waits notices her new customers and hurries over to them. Welcome, masters. She makes a deep bow and then faces her customers with a shy smile. As her eyes wander to poorly dressed Folken, her expression changes into admiration, throwing her off her routine. Your order, may I please take your order? Not only is she dresses scantily, but she looks even paltrier than Folken. With her pose and her facial expression, she appears more like a scared animal. Her blue shining eyes are her most striking features, but the magical ring around her neck is the most notable and significant part of her. That is a red ring, it seems. You know what, Folken? Let's order something really good today. Sure. We'll each take a jug of mead together with white bread and meat. If your master is doubtful, tell him that we have the coins needed for payments. The waitress eyes wide even more as she spots the coins in Meta's hands. Thank you for your order, masters. Can I further interest you in buying a tin of sticks? No thanks. Wait. Folken reacts immediately. And I've never tried sticks before. Almost about to talk Folken out of it, Meta can't seem to find the right words after seeing his puppy dog eyes. Are you sure? Well, not entirely, but I'm curious. Fully aware of the fact that curiosity is something that never goes away, Meta nods at the waitress. Right away, thank you very much. She hurries off to her master behind the bar to pass on the order. And you even ordered white bread? I never had the opportunity to taste that. It's usually reserved for noblemen, right? I've rarely eaten any myself, but why not use the money that we have to treat ourselves with our dangerous quest continues? This could be our last meal, who knows? That's an unnecessary morbid addition, but anyway, I'm all for it. Suddenly a man takes a seat at their table on the opposite side. Matt and Folken didn't even see him coming. Okay. He stares at Matt with an intense look, as if trying to find a taint on his face. Even though Sarek is a notorious hunter, neither Folken nor Matt are aware of who the person is that imprudently just sat at their table. So, he's a hunter, a notorious hunter, it's better to say like that. Matt is immediately overcome with an eerie feeling from the stench and rests his hand on his dagger just to be cautious. It should be clear without me say that we are at this table first. Why don't you search for another one, yes? What's your name? Huh? I'm Folken. What? Why on the segment will I ever be interested in you? He barely even looks Folken in the eyes. He doesn't care about Folken. I thought, why do we allow this man to interfere with our conversation? He's free to say whatever he likes, although the things he says aren't the cleverest so often. And by the way, whatever you think this is, it's not a conversation. Sarek bends over the table with a threatening pose. Just tell me your name. Matt looks around the tavern, thinking about how impolite the rooks would be right now if it were to escalate, and he can't spot any guards or the forest inside the tavern for protection. It's Meta. Sarah takes a moment to calculate the chance of him lying, then he sits back on the chair and takes forth a pile of paper. Meta, huh? Doesn't ring a bell. Let's see. It's easy to notable that the pages are all wanted posters, and Sarah flips through them to search for the receiver name. The pages seem to be placed in a specific order, and Sarek skims through them with a strong knowledge. It only takes him a short moment. Nothing. Yeah, he's a hunter, so he was searching for our name. Were you hoping to find my face on one of those posters? Well, I hate to disappoint, but I'm not a delinquent. Look that way. Don't worry. You are still young, you still have your chance, and maybe we'll meet again. He stands up to announce his departure from this table. No hard feelings, right? Maybe next time. And he goes away. Oh, I forgot. He stops to turn around. Does anyone of you know a woman called Kaheri? The name clearly doesn't stir any stimulation in their brain cells. No. He's searching for someone called Kaheri. Alright then, see you next time. With those ambitious words, Sarek steps away, looks around the tavern and walks over to the next occupied table to continue his self-serving quest. What was that guy's problem? Meta shrugs his shoulder and shakes his head. Looks like a meddlesome bounty hunter to me. Everyone has to earn their coins somehow in this world. Thank you for waiting, masters. The waiters put 2 plates with hot meat and big chunk of white bread on the table and continues to serve the drinks, which she then follows up with a deep bow. We hope everything will be to your absolute satisfaction. She also placed the sticks tin in the middle of the table, as if it was something for everyone to behold. And don't hesitate to call for us if you would like anything else. Enjoy your meal. She moves away from the table to greet their next customers, while Folken and Meta stare at their meal with wide eyes and open mouths. Hastily they dip their knives into the lard and spread onto the also pristine white bread. They start to eat by taking big bites and forcefully push the food down their throats. They realize the trivial predicament of trying to enjoy the meal, while at the same time having no choice but to eat at full speed because of how delicious it is. Look at the face of Folken like It takes the consumption of more than half their lunch before they can finally slow down, and it takes even a few more moments before one of them starts to speak again. Meta, I never had anything this good. You have my eternal gratitude for this treat. He gulps down a big chunk of the roasted meat. By the way, the waitress, she's a slave, right? All the waiters here are slaves. Meta takes the last piece of bread into his mouth and is baffled that he finished the first. Even you should know that those rings around their necks are the embodiment of enslavement. These rings come in various forms, but they work in the same way. They are magic rings that often have a glowing ring around them to imply that the person the rings are attached to is the property of someone else. Yeah, I know, but I always wonder what the point was. I mean, the slaves can still run away, right? Meta tilts his head and strokes his chin as if he had a beard. Sure they can, but they cannot hide. As long as they wear that ring around their neck, they will always be slaves. And their master will constantly know their location. There you go. In other words, they will be recaptured sooner or later. And if that's not enough, there always be the possibility of a punishment or even execution for running away. But surely one can find a way to destroy or get rid of those rings, no? Meta shakes his head with a sigh. Sadly, no. The rings are sealed with magic that can't be destroyed. Only their masters can release them by speaking out the password or sentence to deactivate the seal. Folken lowers his head to think. His eyes wander towards the circular tin in the middle of the table. He takes it into his hand and opens the lid to take a look. Surprisingly, there is really not much to it. The tin is made of metal and shaped with the help of magic, and the sticks inside of it has the consistency and looks of water, but it has a slightly more bluish color. Matt observes Folken without saying a word, wondering if he's really going to do it. He himself hasn't even probably tried it out yet, always being afraid of possibly taking a liking to it. Where does this liquid even come from? How is it produced? It's not manufactured product. It's simply collected from the river called Styx. It's a river that is located in segment Prosperous. Collected? So you can just bring a bucket to the river and take its Styx from there? Well, it's not that simple. Being exposed to that vast amount of Styx will make you lose consciousness rapidly, and the longer you inhale it, the more you will lose yourself until your brain is complete mush, resulting in death or at least permanent damage. Shocked and intimidated, Folken puts away from his nose. There is an entire business exclusive for that job, and only with the right equipment are people able to retrieve the liquid from the river, but it's said to still come with side effects even with the right equipment, and people working there have reduced life expectancy. Folken gulps and looks at Matt with a worried expression. Whoa, you really know how to make me lose my curiosity. Matt chuckles complacently. Don't fret, this amount of Styx is nowhere near dangerous. If you don't do it too often per day, that is. Go ahead. So you can't drink a lot of Styx, okay. Gingerly, Folken draws the Styx close to his nose to catch a whiff of the liquid's captivating odor. It has an unobtrusive sweet scent of warm vanilla, but is actually rather ice-cold and overwhelms the nostrils with a minty deliverance. The explosive effect of the scent blazes his trail to the brain in an instant, releasing a feeling of fuzziness, easement, and a contented sedation. It is unimaginable to Folken how strong and deadly the effects of the liquid would be if he was to stand near that trappy river, and he can't help but feel astounded by the efforts made by people to collect it. Of course, if it's dangerous. So the music changes and a prominent voice echoes through the building, causing the chattering to go silent. Welcome all cast of magic to the show that you were waiting for. Okay, something's gonna happen. A show, it seems. Put down your beer and stick so you can absorb the upcoming phenomenal performance to the fullest. Hold your coins ready to give a tip and you might just receive a reward from this beautiful lady. Clap your hands together and give your wonderful Charlotte a warm welcome. The door on the left side opens and a lady in silk garment enters the applauding tavern with dancing moves perfectly in sync to the music playing. Okay. A dancerine, it seems. Is dancerine or a dancer that you say too? She rotates around one of the tables in an enchanting way. All eyes are focused on her fine body, and every whip she makes with her hips dictates the heartbeat of all men in this room. The moves she makes with her belly are out of this world to Folken. He has never seen anything like it. With her enchanting dance skills, she makes her way to Folken and Meta's table, where she stops to perform a small show while staring them down with her hypnotic eyes. Isn't this the girl in the beginning? I think it is. That was with Master Ortaf. I think it is. Look at the eyes. Seem like it. I think it is. Like the eyes, I think it's same that the girl in the beginning. I can be wrong, but their jaw drops as they watch her captivating stare, both with a totally different mindset and view. So, Folken perspective, meta perspective. Let's go for Folken. Let's see what he's thinking. Folken follows her every move with wide averted eyes. The inhaled Styx from before is clearly showing its effects. Not only is fascinated by her looks, but there is also this feeling of wanting to reward her for her dancing skills and stunning performance. And as she smiles at him, Folken melts away and becomes absolutely flabbergasted. Matt, I need to give her a coin. Matto seems to be hypnotized, suddenly snaps out of it as he hears the overzealous words. What? His face looks appalled. We only have 3 gold coins. Only? You think it will be appropriate to give more? Are you out of your mind? You don't get the gist of what I'm saying, do you? I'm telling you that we don't have coppers for that, and giving a gold coin for a dance will always be outrageous. Plus, it will draw unnecessary attention towards us. Disinterested of the disgrace of the shoe, the dancer moves on to the next table, where she is finally being rewarded some copper coins for her skillful efforts. Feeling bad about not being able to give her something, Folken watches her dance for the other tables and he wonders. Wait, she's not a slave, right? Why do you think that is? Well, first of all, never assume that a person can cast magic, just because he or she doesn't look like it. Maybe she is a C-class magus, who knows? Oh, really? But if that's the case, then why would she feel the need to work here? To gain some money, of course. What kind of stupid question is that? You never cease to baffle me, you know? People have to earn their money somehow. Maybe the magic she can cast is more or less useless to society, so she has to work for society in other ways. Or she just likes to dance. There's nothing wrong with that. The music stops as the dancer retreats through the door she came in, and the atmosphere returns to the usual. That was amazing! It sure was. She's talented. Folken finished up his plate and drink while the effect of stick started to wear off. For a moment he couldn't even remember that they were about to go to Darga's castle, and he bets that even Meta felt the same. He then notes a lovely elf girl at the other side of the tavern, standing there all alone, and she really sticks out in here like the sun in the sky. She couldn't have possibly been there the whole time. Folken would have noticed such a fine lady. Folken almost considers inviting her over so that she doesn't need to be alone and can get a seat, but she looks around nervously as if she is in a stressful situation against time. The staring gains Meta's attention and he follows his gaze to the elf. Do you like her? Caught red-handed, Folken blushed even more. Oh, no, I mean, yes, she's quite attractive, isn't she? She has a fair amount of scars on her body. Maybe she's a slave, but I see no ring. Suddenly she makes a nodding sign to a group of people at another table, who promptly stand up to take aim with their bows and arrows at other random individuals within the building. The elf girl also takes forth one of her arrows and points it toward the local owner behind the bar, who instinctively holds up his arms to show no sign of resistance. Meta, what's going on? A few of course must stand up, readying themselves to intervene anytime, just waiting for the right moment. It's not like people are particularly helping each other in this era. It's more of a thing of showing these hopeless wasters their place in the hierarchy and to show off in general. Someone who's just about to enter the tavern and witness what's going on in here immediately screams to the outside for help. Rebels! We have some rebels in here! The elf girl grunts, knowing that the time is running out faster than anticipated. Everybody, stay calm and don't make any funny moves. We are not here to harm you. We are just here to take our comrade back. She points with her head at the waiters with the brown hair who brought Folken and Meta their meal. Remove the ring around her neck and release her at once. Folken is highly fascinated by the scene. The fact that these rebels will risk their life to free a comrade from slavery is a heroic story, and it leads Folken with bravery. He is just about to stand up as Meta pulls him down right away. What by the sphere do you think you are doing? He accentuates each and every word with a whispering but angry voice. We need to help her. Her? Are you out of your minds? This isn't time to play hero. Those are rebels. She is a rebel. If you help her, then you will be marked as a rebel too. Aren't we become rebels anyway after visiting Darga? Slightly shocked by how serene Folken talks about such a serious topic, Meta realizes that what he just said isn't necessarily untrue, and it makes him doubt their quest a little bit himself. That may or may not happen, but one thing is sure, if you get marked right here, then we won't be able to make it to the castle alive. And I don't think that this girl is getting out of here either. Do you see all this magie around her? They are ready to strike at any moment. He points at those people who have stood up from their chairs. They are still hesitant to act, as some of the arrows of her partners are constantly pointed towards them. But look at that work. I like that work, like very well made. During Folken's discussion with Matt, the elf girl kept arguing with the old man about releasing the slave. After a few moments, and only after realizing that no one is helping him at the moment, the owner finally gives in, which he follows by something that sounds like a litany of curses. He speaks out the magic words and the ring around the slave's neck dims out and opens itself, causing a loud clang as it hits the wooden ground. With tears running down her cheeks, the ex-slave clings happily to the other elf. She can barely fathom what just happened. Though happy to have released her, the blonde elf is not letting her guard down. She gives her friends a nodding sign to commence their retreat. All of a sudden, the entrance door opens again, and a tall man enters the building. Holy shit, look at that. Look at that axe. Gonna axe you out. He's a Krylanian, same as Ada, but his crystals are in pink colors, and instead of several fragment crystals in the forehead, there is one big crystal. There it is. The clothes he's wearing express royalty, and the blue symbol at his shoulder not only indicates that he's an astral, but the black background also reveals that he's their leader. Okay. Astrals are top guardians and the leaders of the city, and only A-class magi are allowed to become one, meaning only the most powerful and capable individuals. There is no king, instead the city is run by few astrals. Actually, there aren't many kings left since the Great War, and to have an astral come to this place at this time is coincidence beyond reason. The blonde girl flinches as she sees him, knowing that their time has run out and they are in pinch now. Within just a few seconds, the astral has checked his surroundings and assessed the level of danger as he walks forward towards the rebels with confidence. Everyone, stay calm. I've got this under control, so he's called Zilon. One of the rebels is cool and lets loose his arrow at the astral, who in return blocks the shot with his violet metallic axe as if it was nothing. Blocking an arrow from such a short distance is no easy feat. This man is the real deal, and the rebels realize that as they become even more nervous and insecure, which only encourages the other people around here to act sooner. As he approaches the rebels and is just about to walk past Folken, Folken puts out his foot to trip him up. But you see the tattoo showing that background, so that is royal. It surprisingly works, and Folken immediately pulls his leg back. His heart starts to beat like a drum. It wasn't even an intentional move, it just happened. He stares down at the astral, who is trying to figure out why he's tripped. Although it's not obvious to tell with all the people around him, he surely as he's suspicious. Folken then looks to Meta, who stares back at him with an absolute shocked face, and proceeds to look for possible escape routes, preparing for the worst case scenario. As Folken's eyes wander to the elves, he notes that the blonde elf gives him a warm smile before she runs with the ex-slave through the door on the right. The sound of breaking glass is heard from the next room. The rebels have probably shattered a window to escape from. As the other rebels stay in this room to keep everyone at bay, try to escape through the same door, one of them is suddenly magically raised into the air and pinned to the ceiling by a C-class magus. For a second, one of them thinks about helping the pinned guy, but seeing how the magi from this room are already agitated and spurting towards him, he decides to leave him behind and follow the others. It's obvious that the chance for them to escape is getting slimmer, at least for most of them. By the spheres, let's get off here as long as we can. Stay here and act normal. I will quickly pay for the meal at the bar, okay? Folken nods and looks down on the well-crafted wooden table, not daring to check on the astral. But as Meta walks up to the sides, the Krylanian jumps back up from the ground and approaches Folken angrily. Folken is too scared to raise his gaze. The only thing he sees are the pair of sturdy leather shoes approaching him from the side. With his thick, muscular, and tattooed arm, he single-handedly pulls Folken up by his shirt, lifting him off the ground. Hey! Folken tries to pull himself up so that he doesn't get strangled. The astral carries him over to the next wall, where he pushes Folken against the wood, causing a cracking noise that either came from the wood or from Folken's back. Either way, it hurt tremendously, and Folken can't help but scream from pain. But the scream is immediately silenced as the purple axe sinks into the wood right next to his face. Totally in shock, Folken stops breathing. Now you listen to me, I'm pretty sure it was you tripping me up. I don't know whether you did it on purpose or not, but I'm keeping an eye on you. Should I ever find out that you are acting in collusion with these rebels, then I will come for you and assure you that you won't be able to hide from me. Actually, I should execute you on spot. Meta comes. After paying the bill, Matt rushed over to the scene to smooth the situation. Wait. What do you want? Do you speak for this guy? Matt hesitates, not entirely sure if he really wants to risk his own life here. Yes, we are not looking for trouble. We are just having a nice meal and paid a lot. The Krylanian looks over to the owner of the tavern, who nods at him and shows off the gold coin he just received from Meta. He lets go of Folken and lets him drop to the ground, where he stays put and starts to cough a few times. Alright, I'm letting you go for now, but as I said, I'll be keeping an eye on you. He pushes Matt aside and walks out the door. It's unclear whether Zillion pursues the criminals further after this. Hearing the cheer from outside, there's probably no need anymore. Relieved, Matt holds out his hand to help Folken get up. That wasn't necessarily close. What were you thinking? I don't know. It was like my leg moved on its own. I'm sorry. Folken really looks sorry, so Matt doesn't want to be too hard on him. Still, he can't believe they actually got away with this. We should get going. Are you ready to continue the journey? Folken regains his composure and thinks, there's actually something you'd like to do before that. Okay, another choice. Visit Doc or visit Ada. So Ada maybe is a friend that they know in chapter 1. Visit Doc is like the doctor. I think I go for Ada. Like, I think it's not hurt. I think it was the hood and the hoods that did that noise. So let's go for Ada. Folken tells Meta is undeterred intent of visiting Ada. Although not particularly against it, it's not something Meta wants to be a part of. So he leaves Folken on his own and they decide to meet up again at North Gate to depart towards the castle. So the two part ways for now, and Folken takes the route to the Royal Sector. The domain is subdivided into 4 sectors, each controlled and supervised by a member of Circles. The Royal Sector is the most secure and protected sector of 4, and it is mainly used for habitation of the rich and royal families. Of course, it has to be. As Folken walks along the streets, he starts to wonder how he's going to find out where exactly she lives. It's not like people's names are written on the buildings. Besides, Folken doesn't even know her surname. But this assert is not making him turn around just yet. He will find out somehow, and the thought of seeing her again motivates him. It takes him around 20 minutes until he reaches the gate of Royal Sector. Because we can understand that Ada is a friend of Folken that maybe met on the first chapter. The entrance to this place really brings forth a feeling of awe. The blue and golden archery are beautiful placed at the front for everyone to see, and the banners on the sides only enhance the uneasy feeling Folken has daring to set foot in this sector. The two guards standing in front of the archery make Folken wonder if they will let him pass in the first place. Of course, it's protected because this is the Royal Sector. Before Folken gets too close to them, one of the guards holds up his open hand. Halt! Folken stops and looks at them nervously. What's your business here, Snooper? I'm looking for Ada. Ada of the Circles? The two guards look at each other and chuckle. What does someone like you want from the Circles? I would like to visit her. We know each other. One of the guards barks in disbelief while the other makes a step forward with his hand close to his sword. Ha! What absolute nonsense. You ain't getting past here, so bugger off. Folken let his head drop to his shoulder in frustration. What was he thinking? Of course they won't let him in. Excuse me. Looking up again to see where the female and passionate voice comes from, Folken spots a beautiful lady in front of him. I overheard your conversation with these two brutes. You are looking for Ada, right? Do you mind telling me your name? The woman is a Krylanian with a green colored crystal. On top of that, the colors of her eyes and hair have a remarkable resemblance to someone Folken knows. She wears a exquisite and expensive looking clothes, and the emblem above her chest shows the common cause with a faction, that is this. Folken doesn't recognize which faction the symbol belongs to, but it has to be a pretty high one with the material being gold. Interesting. I'm Folken. Folken? What a nice surprise. My name is Felicitas. I'm Ada's mother. It's nice to finally meet you. So this is the mother of Ada. Folken's face lights up again and he shows her a big smile. You are Ada's mother? I knew you look familiar, but... Okay, so the mother of Ada is Felicitas. My lady, do you know this man? She turns around towards the guards and hugs Folken's arm as if he were a gentleman. I do, and I would like to take him through this gate to my house, if you'll be so kind to permit. The two guards immediately step back and release the grip on their swords. Of course, my lady, have a nice day. Never has a woman before clung herself to him like this, and Folken's face turns red while he lets himself be guided by Felicitas as they walk through the gate and past the guards. Don't be intimidated by those guards, they are just doing their job. Of course, they have to protect the royal sector, of course. He's like, oh my god, I'm not. She presses her chest strongly into Folken's arm, and he can feel how his arm slowly sinks in between her breasts. Oh, or is it perhaps me you are intimidated by? Folken's face turns as red as a rose, and his sound only makes Felicity laugh even more. The rich scent of peach and romance amplifies the effects on him. Oh, don't mind me. She gives him a flirtatious look, and his reaction flatters her so much that she's even blushing a bit herself. You are quite handsome, if I may say so. No wonder Ada can't keep a cool head when I try to speak to her about you. I hope my daughter didn't give you any trouble. No, she was very friendly and helpful. That's nice to hear. It's not unheard of for her to get in trouble because of her quarrelsome attitude. I think she just tried to be strong on the outside, but she has a warm and caring heart. Upon hearing that, Felicity sensed a vulnerable opening. Oh wow, could that be you are fond of her too? She giggles as she sees Folken's speechless and red face. Don't worry, I won't tell her. Folken hasn't even realized that Felicity has guided him quite the distance into this sector already. That's how strong of a charming effect she has. Here we are, this is our modest home. What do you think? This is not a home, this is a mansion. This is a mansion. Come on. This is your house? No way. Not in his sweet dreams will he imagine something as luxurious as this. He could never even conceive the feeling of living in such a place. Do you like it? Like it? It is amazing. He emphasized each word separately. All this room and space just for you and Ada? Felicity starts to laugh. I like how unattached presume that I don't have a husband. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. He lives in this house with us, but... She makes a thoughtful pause. The circumstances are complicated. But more importantly, is the old man still well and energetic? The sudden change into this top feels like a punch to the stomach for Folken. Oh, of course, you don't know yet. Know what? He died, I'm sorry. Excuse me? She instantly releases her grip on him and makes a step backwards. Her expression looks hollow. What are you saying? You knew each other well, right? I'm sorry to be the one to bring such bad news to you. No, it's... She looks away to distance and moves her hand to her mouth. Allow me to have a minute. Sure. Folken glances over to her, trying to figure out how she's feeling, but her expression is surprisingly more thoughtful than sad, as if thinking about the solution to a problem. Someone's not going to like hearing that. Huh? He wasn't old enough to die of age, was he? How did it happen? Dagger killed him in the evening while me and Matt were doing errands here in Domen. It was a quick death. Dagger did? Are you sure? For a short moment her face wrinkles into a horrified state. Yeah, we saw it with our own eyes, but we couldn't save him. Dagger came all the way out there for him? How did she even come to know about his whereabouts? Could it be that she's onto something? Onto what? Oh, never mind. Falken gets the feeling that there is much more going behind the scenes, but he can't get a grip of what it could be. I'm sorry to ask, but you don't seem phased or sorrowful about all this. Were you not close? She looks down and makes a smile just enough to look cheerful, but not enough to cover up the sadness which only now appears to have sunk in. I knew you for a long time, but we have sort of grown apart a bit with him living remotely, almost never coming here, and me, well, it's busy enough as it is. You don't look like someone who would usually hang around with a simple old man like Masortab, except... Wait, you weren't related, were you? But this question couldn't be more wrong, and Felicity starts a guffaw of laughter, making her almost forget about the tragic news. Absolutely not. She bends over towards him with a gloating smile while pushing up her breasts with her arm, making them look even bigger than they already are. So what kind of person do I look like then? You look like a high-class lady. Oh, and do you think this high-class lady is attractive? This question completely throws Folken off as he blinks at her a few times with an open mouth but with no words. I can't speak for everyone, but yes, I think so. Satisfied with the answer, she starts to giggle while pulling on his arms to guide him towards the mansion. You really know what the lady wants to hear. Let's get inside, shall we? Happy to be done with this awkward conversation, Folken follows her up the fairly long stairs to the front gate of the house, which Felicitas unlocks with a silver key. Standing right in front of this enormous mansion makes Folken feel even smaller. As she opens the door to enter, a couple of small bells start to chime. The mother of Ada likes to flirt with every man. Jesus Christ, like, come on, let's flirt. Jesus Christ. Welcome to our home. She stretched out her arms and does a full spin on the spot. They are standing in the entrance hall that is connected to a large corridor that spreads out into both directions and leads to several rooms. There is also a staircase to the left of the entrance leading to the second floor of the mansion. The interior is well decorated and there are a lot of paintings hanging on the walls. Even the floors, walls and ceilings are gorgeously adorned. The infrastructure and the architecture of this place are outstanding. Folken didn't even think that a house this big would exist. It's so spacious. Whoa! Don't be daunted by these halls. I know they might be a bit overwhelming. I never seen anything like this. Welcome home, mistress. The girl who rushes over to greet Felicitas appears to be a maid or more especially a slave, yeah, because it has a red ring. She has a light-hearted smile and the color of her hair match those of her eyes. Altogether, her looks make the impression of a tidy and truthful person. Thank you, Chu, the honest and good girl as always. Please welcome our guest Folken with a cup of tea, would you? So she's called Chu? Maybe it's because she's second maid? Maybe. Understood, mistress. She turns around and goes straight through the door on the right. Chu? Yes, that's the name she had when I bought her. Okay. She was already accustomed and comfortable with the name, so we didn't want to change it. Okay, she bought it, but the name was already Chu. Unsure of how to proceed with this conversation, Folken stays quiet. Should he be resentful that she's keeping slaves? The fact that this seems to be an absolute normal thing for Felicitas, and the fact that the maid did not look mistreated or anything, confuses him. It's as if the slave is truly living a pleasant life here, making Folken wonder if he's supposed to regret never having let himself caught by enslavers. It's a shame that you are not able to profit from the old man teaching anymore, and it's said that he's no longer with us. What's your plan now? Will you continue to live in the old man's hut? That question is a good one. Folken hasn't thought about this at all. The house has burned down. There's not much left of it, so that's not an option anymore. Oh, that's horrid. Not only did you lose your mentor, but also a place to stay. While she spaced out in thoughts, the maid returns from the other room. She walks straight up to Folken and hands over a white porcelain cup of steaming tea with beautiful markings. She smiles during the whole transfer and makes a bow. Please enjoy our homemade green tea. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call for me anytime. The maid steps back into a neutral position, as if wanting to waiting for the next order, her eyes passively angled downwards, not having made eye contact with anyone. Splendid, don't you? It is all for now, thank you. Understood, mistress. Folken follows her with his eyes as she leaves the room. He picks up the hot cup from the plate and breathes in the refreshing smell of herbage. Homemade tea? Naturally, we have our very own tea bush in the garden. As he takes a sip into his mouth, the taste receptors explode. This is delicious! I'm glad you like it. So, where were we? Pleased with the taste of tea, Folken takes a sip after sip while he lets Felicity guide the conversation. Oh, is that a place to stay? I'd like to aid you in this affair, but I'm afraid it's not quite that simple. Unfortunately, we can't stay here. That would put a questionable impression on us, and that's the least thing we need right now. I'll try to find a vacant apartment nearby for you to stay. And if you behave well, start to use your magic and make a name for yourself, then it will become much easier to adopt you into our house. How does that appease you? Folken gulps down the last drop of tea as he puts the cup back on the plate. He barely managed to listen to her. Adopting him into such a mansion, that's nothing could ever imagine to happen. I don't think that's necessary. I can't afford any of it anyway, and I don't want to be a burden to anyone. Nonsense, I will see what I can do, don't worry. With a heavy heart, Folken gazed down on the gauzy carpet with the wine-red pattern. Why would you go that far for someone like me? The woman paused and reoriented herself. Someone like you? You do realize that it was me who was in contact with Master Taff and who sent Ada for visitation to help you, right? Well, now that you mention it... So she will send her daughter to visit us. Interesting. Ask about her heart to send Ada. Ask about her selfless passion. Let's go for this. What I am to you, that you are doing these things for me. You don't even know me. That's only half true. Yes, this is the first time that we have met, but Master Taff and I knew your father, which makes you very dear to us. I know the stories about my father, but how does that make me special? First, it paused to think about how to answer that question. On one hand, you were born with great potential thanks to your parents. You could become anything you want. Besides, your father was the protector of this city. We owe him at least this much. Seeing the skepticism in Folken's face, she abruptly makes a step towards him and bends slightly forwards. Don't worry. Try to accept the fact that there are people who care about you. She gives him a wink and a flirtatious smile, making Folken blush again. Still, he can't shake off the feeling that everyone knows something secretive about him, which he himself doesn't know about. By the way, Meta and I are planning to visit Target together. We are actually currently headed that way. We have a few questions to ask her. What I want to say is that I'm not sure when we'll be back or in what condition. Folken doesn't smile. This is a serious matter. Excuse me? Somehow she looks even more disturbed than when she came to know about Master Ortav's unfortunate demise. That must be up there with one of the stupidest things I ever heard, and I hear a lot of things every day. The harsh words almost make Folken feel like he should apologize for his foolishness. What is it you hope to gain from that? This is just something we need to do to move forward with our lives. We can't pretend that nothing happened. Seeing Folken's feared eyes, Felicity is suddenly silent. I won't be able to protect you there. She is surprisingly sensitive about this. Then have faith in us. It seems that I have underestimated you. Forgive me. A change of words makes Folken wonder if he was talking a bit too emotionally, but he stands by what he said and doesn't want to take it back. How about we visit Ada now? That's why you came here in the first place, isn't that right? Well, yes, but... Follow me then. You can place the cup on this table. Unsure whether he has hurt her feelings, Folken follows her instruction and walks up the stairs with her. Tuk 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 tuk, climbing the steps. We have to make sounds. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, climbing the stairs to go visit Ada. They walk around the corner to the second door of this similarly large floor. It is made out of wood and has a marigold flower engraved into it. Here we are. She opens the door with one swift move and enters the room. Ada, are you there? Ada is nowhere to be seen, but her answering indicates that she must be somewhere inside that room. Yes, Mom, I'm here. Overhearing her voice, Felicity pulls Folken inside while she herself steps out of the room and is just about to close the door behind him. Have fun! She winks at Folken with a grin as she closes the door completely. Huh? What was that about? Mom? Slowly Folken walks forward to look for Ada. Oh shit! He's like, huh? Huh? So this is Ada. What Folken beholds will be a dream come true for many men. Ada stands in front of him in the midst of putting on her clothes. Her eyes are somewhat even cutter than usual, and her smooth skin shines in sunlight. Ada? The words just barely escapes his mouth. That's how stunned he is right now. Folken? They stare at each other for a moment while their faces gradually turn from white to red. After what feels like an eternity, Ada finally grabs the closest grabbable thing and throws it at Folken sterorously. Pervert! Dashes it Folken's head and he falls backwards to the floor. Even though he threw the item didn't hurt, it was basically the situation that knocked him off. Don't even dare to stand up and peep! What is he even doing here? She mutters those high-pitched words unknowingly, but Folken doesn't react to it at all. His eyes are closed, but if he concentrates, the picture of her manifests in front of his eyes. But she has to blame her mother. It was her mother that pushed us to the room. Like, what? After a short while, Ada finally comes forward with her cute and soft face. It's okay now, you can stand up. I think because the mother of Ada knows that Ada likes Folken, is what I think. That's why she pushed us to the room. She pushed Folken to the room because, okay, I know Ada likes you, so try to say that to her at the same time, is what it is. Folken gets back on his feet to look around the room and finds Ada standing right next to her bed at a safe distance from him with an untypical stressed expression. She looks as cute as ever and her cheeks have turned red. The room is spacious and beautiful, decorated with a vibe of pureness. The slaves must be doing a great job. There is no dust to be seen. Don't you think it's inappropriate to enter a lady's room without notice? Well, your mother... Folken has no clue how to explain the situation. There is no explanation good enough to make sense. What are you even doing here? I was passing by, so I thought I would come for a visit. I want to see where you live. What was that wrong? It's not a question of wrong or right, it's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Huh? She immediately reminded of how nice he is and that he really isn't like all the other boys. Oh, apologize accept. You can see on her face that she likes Folken. Easy to understand. Nervous and abashed, they don't even look at each other for a moment. Now it's hard to know is those Folken like Ada too? Who knows? I want to thank you again for coming to help me the other day. Well, it's not like I want to. My mother ordered me to do it. Her touchy nature is surfacing again. Oh. Were you able to use your abilities in the meantime? Actually no. I thought maybe you could help me again. It's not like she expects him to be already skilled with magic, but hearing of no progress at all disappoints her a bit. But maybe this is a good opportunity to test something else she is interested in. There is something I was wondering about. Pure bloods with more than one affinity like yourself are always stronger on one side than the other. Strong on one side? What does this even mean? Remember that I told you about your abilities being both ice and fire? One of those two must have the upper hand in terms of manifestation. I'm curious to see which one it is. You know, I was wondering something too. What is that is a pure blood anyway? Huh? You don't know? Ada doesn't mind explaining, but she did not expect someone of his age to ask such a question. Pure bloods are essentially those with parents of the same class. Your parents were both A-class magi. There you go. How can you possibly know if they were both A-class magi? This void is deeper than I thought. There are books and stories about your father who all describe him being an A-class, Additionally, there are still people around who knew him. With your mod, however, is trickier. There are no records of her being mentioned anywhere. So maybe the father didn't want to nobody talk about what class was Folken's mother? Maybe? Because there is no records? But in the end, all that doesn't matter. Simply, by analyzing your abilities, it becomes clear that you are a pure blood. If your parents were a mix of class, then you wouldn't have such powerful magic capabilities. So she could see that he was probably because of what she can do with her magic, okay? This might be confusing, but I hope it's a bit clearer for you now. In Folken's head, it still doesn't make total sense. Maybe he needs to ask something more specific next time, but right now he's more interested in one thing that she mentioned. There are books that mention things about my father. That's what you took for my explanation? Her touchy side pushed her to be angry, but she recognized her report that this must be for him and calms herself down. Yes, there are some, though most of them are not accessible for the public, but you may find out a few things in the books from the fantastic library. The library? I've never been there. Then I recommend you catch up on everything once you find time to. Folken has never thought on this before, and now that he hears about it, he wonders why he hasn't come to this conclusion on his own. His father was an important person, after all. I will, thanks Ada. Even though Ada likes to be thanked and praised, she doesn't want to show it, so she suppresses her emotions. So, to get back to what you said earlier, how do we find out whether ice or fire magic is strong within me? So he can use magic and fire, but one of them is going to be the powerful one. The main, it's better to say the main. It's very simple. The element type that you are able to cast first should automatically be the dominant one. What she says makes sense, but he doesn't know the answer to it, nor does he know how you will find out. But I don't know how to do any of that. That's precisely the problem. Nonetheless, I believe I can be of help. Please sit down into a comfortable position. Things are certainly going faster than Folken anticipated. What? Ada points to the car beneath their feet without looking at him. After a short hesitation, Folken follows her command and sits cross-legged on the ground. Okay, she's gonna try to see what is the dominant. Like this? Yes, now say like this, okay? With weak knees, she stepped closer to Folken, positioning herself behind him and holds her feminine hands on both sides of his head. Now close your eyes. Being this close to him again makes her annoyingly nervous. I will guide you with my magic. Just try to relax, okay? Folken nods and relaxes all his muscles. Now that he's purposely trying to relax, he notices how stiff his body is from tension. Guidance. Blue particle lights appear around their hands and start to move around. The lights will show him the right path, but she has no direct influence on what he will see in his mind. Folken lets himself glide by warmth, but everything is dark, only a faint blue swath appears. It's the only visible beacon in the blackness. As he concentrates on it, the swath comes close and close until it's all around him. A tingling feeling overcomes his body, and it feels like it's all moving towards his left chest. Is this where his magic channeling point is situated? Like, look at this artwork. Nicely done. Look at this. He captures this feeling in his mind for as long as he can. Then the light goes away and Folken slowly opens his eyes. As Folken opens his eyes, he's surprised by the chilling mist surrounding him. What's going on? We just found out what your primary magic is. It's ice. Folken moves his hand through the mist. To him, it's unbelievable that he's the cause of this. I did this? He turns his head to look at Ada, who has surprising astonished facial expression. Looking down at Folken and seeing how close his face is to hers, she immediately turns red and rushes off to open a window. Fresh air blows in and displaces the chilling mist within seconds. You can stand up now. Folken knows that his body is still tingling from the sensation. Whoa. So now that we know that it's ice, how do you feel about it? That was amazing. I felt a tingling in my chest. Is this where my magic source is located? Oh, well done for noticing. That is absolutely correct. Hearing him say that it surprised her, she did not expect the performance to work so well for him to notice. If you concentrate on that spot, I'm sure you'll succeed soon. You think so? Well, thanks, Ada. Staring at his sincere smile and hearing those words makes her smile as well. Until she realizes it and quickly swaps to her usual shy self. You're welcome. Oh, I think I should get going. I'm sure Matt is already waiting for me. How can you be around that guy? He gives me the creeps. Somehow Folken isn't surprised by her to hear that. I know one can get cold vibes from him, but deep down he's a nice guy and cares for people. What he says might be true, but that doesn't change the fact that she doesn't like Meta. Okay, I have to run. Thanks again for your help, Ada. Take care. Knowing that he is about to leave, there are suddenly dozens of emotions going through her. One of them would like to stop him from leaving, but she stays silent. He waves her goodbye and leaves the room on his own. Yeah, you can see that she likes Folken, but she is afraid to say it. He walks down the stairs to the entrance hall where the slave is patiently waiting for him. Is everything alright? Oh yes, I'm about to leave. Is Felicity not around anymore? Unfortunately, she is tending to other business right now. Would you like me to leave a message? The thought of her tending to business did not occur to him, but it makes sense. No, it's okay. Just convey her my regards. Understood. She makes a light bow. Have a nice day. Thanks, you too. Ifan leaves the mansion and proceeds to walk towards the northern gate. Being able to have seen Ada again fills him with energy, and the newly acquired information and feeling is surely going to be beneficial. Because now he knows how to use the magic and what his dominant magic is. With nearly gaining positive vibes, Folken walks through the streets of Dorman toward the northern gates. This part of the city looks somewhat different than the rest, with a mixture of old and new assets. Remembering the story Master Ortav told him about his father, it becomes clear that he is the part of the city that got destroyed back then. Most of the things were rebuilt as it seems, but not everything. After a while, Folken reached the northern gate, where Meta is already waiting for his arrival. He even might have been waiting here the entire time. Slightly surprised that Meta has waited for him at all, he walks over to him in a good mood. There you are. Yep, thanks for being patient. Are you ready for departure? Yes. We have already stagnated for too long. Why do you say that? Does it matter where we arrive a few hours earlier or later? I just want to get this over with and talk to Dark as long as the memory of yesterday is still fresh. Oh, I understand, sorry. Are you heading towards the castle? Folken and Meta look around to find out where the male voice was coming from, but there is no one. Down here. As they look down, they find a small man. My god. With that, look at that beard, Jesus. A kinda funny looking figure stands in front of them. It's a man in his 50s with a small body and a rounded face. Parts of his hair has already turned to white and his mustache is exquisitely long. Interestingly, the subtlety of this man is an unknown factor from his appearance alone. Unsure of how to react, neither of them speaks a word. Excuse me, but I overheard your conversation. You are going to the castle, right? Who are you? I'm Heribert, it's a pleasure. He holds out his hand in anticipation of shaking hands. Folken and Matt look at each other first, then vigilantly shake hands with the man, still not knowing his intention at all. I'm the proud owner of this beautiful wagon. He points at the wooden wagon right next to the gate. It has a cloth strapped over it to give shelter to the passage of the freight, and the wagon is drawn by 2 white horses. Coincidence as it that I'm about to travel to the castle myself. You are free to accompany me, if you like. It would be nice to talk to someone else for a change, instead of just Cachalion and Metonia. Who? Why, my horse, of course. He makes a high-pitched laugh. Yeah, we were actually just about to make our way to the castle. Then let me welcome you to my humble rides. He gesticulates towards the wagon and makes exaggerated facial expressions, making Folken laugh. Matt, however, is somewhat irritated by it. He doesn't like when things are too convenient. Come on, don't be shy. He pulls Matt a cape like a child. Alright. Just stop pulling my cape. Herbert drops down a small ladder on the back side and Folken and Matt get into the rides. While Herbert mounts the front seat, however he is able to do that with his small body, Folken and Meta look around inside the wagon. It becomes clear that this man lives inside his wagon. There is a bed sheet and cushions laying on the floor. In one of the corners are several knitted bags, probably food. There are also a few wooden crates stacked on each other. They might contain the content he is to deliver. Make yourself comfortable and use whatever you want. Folken and Meta grab one of the cushions to sit on as Herbert swings the rope attached to the horse to commence their departure. Right away, the wheels roll over the pebbly road that connects Domer to the castle and they leave the city behind. So we can only click in this. It seems that the elf girl, it seems like her. Let's save because pass a lot. Save always in true because in case it crashes like that, it's what I recommend always to do. It's a warm day with a cool breeze, making the travel pleasant except for the unavoidable bumpy rides. It would have been much faster and more comfortable to take the service of a teleporter jet, but teleporting into or near the castle is prohibited for security reasons. There might even be a magus inside the castle whose sole task is to jam abilities like those. It's nice having company once in a while. He speaks loud enough for the passengers in the back to hear. Do you always travel like this? You mean with my wagon and the horse? Why yes, I travel from seat to seat and from segment to segment. I get around a lot. That answer makes Folken prick his ears. You have been to the other segments? What do they look like? Yeah, I won't spoil the fun of seeing them for yourself. No words can justify the feeling you get when you see them for the first time, believe me. Somehow, Folken expects an answer that will raise his curiosity even more, but then again, he's probably right. What are you delivering? Oh, you want to see? He gives a repeated stomps on the ground with his feet like a drum. Come close, I'll show you. Skeptical Folken and Meta look at each other. Why can't they just look inside one of the crates or something? Following the main proposition, Folken and Meta lean forward out of the shelter to right next to Herbert. Now watch carefully. He giggles and positions his hand and fingers as if holding an invisible ball. Blind capture. Glowing magical lines appear around his hands as something starts to materialize floating between them. Folken and Meta watch in awe as the materializing object's shape becomes clear as to what seems to be a rectangular card. Okay, it shows everything from a person, is what it seems, right? So this is the card of a guy called Nagar Kaltbrock. It seems like that. It will become perceived that the card is not only visually appealing, but it also contains interesting information making it something like a data card. With the card still floating in the air, Herbert offers Folken to take it. As Folken grabs the card, he gets a sensational feeling of a material whose surface texture as he has never felt before. The card has a qualitative gloss and the picture of the purse looks real. To top it all, the man in the image is someone Folken has met before. He will never forget that face. Nagar Kaltbrock, that's the guy who almost killed the doctor. Being fascinated himself, Meta points at the H entry. If what this card says is true, then someone or something has already ended his life. Oh, trust me, my card always tells the truth. Although it only states the current state of that person at the time the card was created. So let's say that person will learn a new ability or something. That card will not adopt to it. I'll need to create a new one. Okay. How did you know that I met this guy before? You misunderstand. The cards that I create are always generated randomly. Simply put, this is pure coincidence. He winks towards Folken with a smile. Coincidence? Folken looks at the card a while longer, trying to inhale all the information he sees. Matt, however, although intrigued, sees another side to the story. I think I get it. You want to sell your cars to Darga, am I right? That is correct. Meta gives him a leery look, but being focused on the streets, Herbert does not see it. So you want to provide her with crucial information about potential dangers in village to give her advantage against them? So in here says narrator, but they need to change to say Meta. Because it's Meta talking to Herbert, is what it is. Because see? Well, if you put it that way, someone might use my cars for such a purpose, yes. What other purpose is there from your view? For collecting purpose, of course. You could even play a card game with them. So this is a reference to Final Fantasy, because you had those card games to play. In Final Fantasy 8 at least you had Final Fantasy 9, you have The Witcher, so it's kind of reference to that too. Think about it, that doesn't sound wrong either. Maybe Meta's mindset was too negative. Then he suddenly thinks of something else. Wait a minute, don't tell me it was you who sold out Master Ortaf to Darga. Instinctively, he grabs Herbert's arm and pinches it strongly. Ouch! What are you talking about? I know no one of that name. Folken tries to go between the two as best as he can to protect Herbert. Meta, you are hurting him. Look at the card, Meta. Even if Darga had the card of Master Ortaf, there is no information about their whereabouts. She couldn't have known where to find him. Realized that he was unnecessarily overcome with short-tempered anger again, Meta lets go of him. He shakes his head, he isn't like him. Why am I like this? The situation de-escalates as they take a short break and Herbert regains control of the wagon doors. I'll turn a blind eye on what just happened, but be aware that even my hospitality has its limits. Herbert is visible offended, though he doesn't look like the resentful type. To cool everyone's head off, they go through the journey without much conversation for now. Yeah, because it doesn't say where they live. I understand what Meta wanted to say, but he was wrong in there. They travel a while longer, until a bit farther away, Herbert spots another wagon in the middle of the road. There's something going over there. Maybe someone had a breakdown. Let's see if we can help. Leaning out of the wagon to see where he's pointing, Meta reveals his doubts. What if it's a trap? Herbert starts to laugh as if Meta made a joke, which he fails to understand. At least Herbert's huffy mood seems to have passed faster than anticipated. Your pessimism is killing me. Worrisome, Meta turns his head to look at Folken, who just pitifully pats him on the shoulder and shakes his head. Let the man do what he was asked to do. Don't complain afterwards if it really is a trap. They are a few meters away from the other wagon, step out of the right. The car looks similar to the one that Herbert owns, but it's a smaller model. It's always stuck here because one of its wheels has broken into pieces. The horses have been tied to a stray tree on the right side. Passengers are not to be seen, maybe they are on the inside. As they draw close to it, a female voice suddenly calls out to them. Don't come any closer, if you do, we'll put holes in you with our arrows. The warning makes all three of them stop in their tracks. State your business at once. The voice comes from the wagon, and by now they can see that there are two figures peeking from behind the wagon, one on each side of it. Folken steps forward with his hands in the air. We were just wondering if you needed help. Matt is surprised with his sudden courage in such a situation. He doesn't recall him being that way before. There is a moment of silence, then the figure on the right comes forth to show herself. I recognize you. You helped us in the tavern, didn't you? Yeah, it's the elf, the girl that owned tavern. It's dangerously attractive rebel from the tavern who freed one of the slaves. And she looks even more breathtaking up close. Oh, you are from back there. I'm glad to see that you made it out of the city. Her passion to free her kind has left a deep impression on Folken. The other elf shows up as well. It's the one who was freed during the operation. By the way, my name is Tisneva. Nice to meet you. So, Tisneva. She angles her arms towards the other elf. And this is my sister, Mouse. Thank you for helping us. She makes a deep bow, reminding Folken out of the bow she made when she took their orders at the tavern. And she looks much more vivid and calm without the slave ring. Freedom gives her a totally different image. Herbert ignores the old introduction and walks right past them to inspect the broken wheel. I'm Folken, this is Meta, and that old man there is called Herbert. Huh? Only half listening, he notes that Folken is talking about him, but he's too distracted to care. I'm surprised that you managed to make it out of the city with all the guards and the forest and whatnot. Do you think we will have risked our lives if you didn't have a plan and a realistic chance of escape? Meta throws a scrutinized gaze at her. Then I take it all of you have made it out? She pauses for a moment, then shakes her head. 3 of our friends were caught during the operation. Meta scoffs silently. And you call that a success? Was it worth to rescue your sis and lose 3 of your friends? Blaming herself for what happened, Mouse looks down ashamed, while Tisnev makes an angry face. Of course it's horrible, but everyone knew the risk, and I will volunteer to help their families too. She points a finger towards him. Don't you dare judge us. A mage like yourself could never understand. Meta shakes his head contemptuously and turns around to Heribet's wagon. He has had enough and obviously doesn't want anything more to do with this. We should hurry and up and leave before the guards or the astral shows up and think we are associated with them. Before the situation escalates more, Folken stands in between them with an awkward smile. Please, calm down. She puts her hands to her hips as if demonstratively standing her ground. How can you travel with such an unreasonable mage? You are not his slave, are you? I see no slave ring. Folken understands that someone might ask such a question with the clothes that he wears. No, we are actually friends. He casually hesitates to say the last word, not knowing how she might react to that unusual statement. Friends? She sighs that, then her expression becomes sorrowful again. Of course, I'm sad that the others couldn't make it out. I'm sorry, sis. No, it's not you who is at fault, it's society. And this man was brave enough to hinder Zillion, the leader of the Astrals. His action was a big contribution to help us escape. That surreal scene comes back into Folken's mind, and he is sure to feel proud about it or ashamed. Weren't you afraid? Oof, I almost wet myself. That was unexpected. I don't know, I had that urge of helping you, and then my leg tried to move on its own. Did you get into trouble for that? Oh, you bet. He was nearly about to execute on me on the spot, was it not for Meta's intervention. She takes a glance behind Folken to see Meta inside the wagon in a thoughtful pose. Maybe it's not that unreasonable after all. Anyway, I'm deeply thankful for what you did. Thank you very much, Master. Mouse. Huh? Stop saying Master, you are not a slave anymore. Oh, you're right. Folken can't help but smile. I'm glad I was able to help, especially if it's about freeing a slave. Up until now I was always lucky enough to evade that fate, but I know how hard it must have been. Approvingly, she looks at Folken from head to toe. Folken, was it right? We live in the elven forest over there in a small village between the trees. She points to the forest in the background. You should come visit us sometime. I'll give you a treat for your help. The thought of him receiving a reward from this girl motivates him. He'll keep her offer in mind at all costs. Oh, thanks. I'll try to follow your invitation soon. In the meantime, Heribert joins Folken and the girls. Well, the bad news is that there is no way around mounting a new wheel on the carriage. Tisnaya turns her head to look at the broken wheel and thinks to herself how obvious this should be, even without inspection. And the good news? The good news is that the connection to the carriage itself is not twisted, it's still intact. I do have a spare wheel with me, but I'm afraid that the diameter of the axis is not the same. Tisnaya is relieved to hear that the axis hasn't been distorted. She didn't think of that before. Oh, don't worry about that. One of our friends already been tasked with bringing a new wheel from our village. He should be back here soon. Ah, that's good to hear. It will be a shame to leave the old lady here in this condition. The old lady? I think he's talking about your organ. Everyone starts to laugh. Well then, if you ladies are set for everything, then we are in no place to interrupt your privacy. No, it was nice to meet you, and my invitation still stands, Folken. She gives Folken a wink. I will make sure to come and visit next time I'm around. He blushes and speaks shyly, while she gives him a warm smile as they say goodbye to each other. As Herbert walks back to his wagon with Folken, he pulls down at his shirt to gain his attention. His face expression looks as if it's another person all of a sudden. Do you see their excellent shaped bodies? Huh? I have to go to that elven forest myself sometimes. Imagine a whole village filled with gorgeous elf girls. With her open mind, Folken allows some image of half-naked elf girls to rush through his head, and his head turns red like a tomato. You think so? Herbert seems to be completely spaced out as they return to the wagon, where Meta has been waiting the whole time. And after a few more seconds, they depart to continue their journey to the castle. Imagining naked elf girls. Okay, so we have a guy in here and interrogation point. Like I said, I want to see what is the interrogation point, so let's go for that. To see what is the meaning of interrogation point. Okay, let's save. The sun is slowly dropping towards the skyline and the breeze increases. Another hour has passed. The castle isn't far away. They will reach its gate within an hour or two. Meta sees another narrow path leading towards the castle. He thinks about stopping the wagon but decides not to. Oh, I haven't even asked yet about what your business at the castle is. Are you also having a hearing with Darga, or is something completely different? So this should be Heribert talking, but it appears narrator. This question makes sense. There could be many different reasons to visit the castle, not only to see the alpha. Yes, we need to ask Darga a few questions. Questions? What kind of business is this about? Herbert is a friendly man, but to reveal their intention is probably not the wisest thing to do. It's private. Well, do you have an appointment? Folken turns his head to Meta. No, we don't. This was more of a spontaneous decision. Oh, I'm not sure if you'll get in without an appointment. Really? I didn't know. How do you make an appointment then? That's fairly easy. You have to visit common grounds for anything message related. It's like a small company that handles message over large distance. There's a common grounds building in every city and crucial location. Is that why you're in Domen? Exactly. I was waiting for the approval of my proposal. How long did you have to wait? Just a few hours. That's a perfect time frame to tend to other things in the meantime. Folk has never heard of this concept before, nor has he seen such a building at Domen. Then again, the city is too big for him to fully explore. How does it work? The responsible person at Commonwealth writes a letter with the proposal attached with his and my signature. Then the contents of the letter is magically transferred to an empty letter at destination. It's a great concept and works very well. Well, that's interesting. Did you hear that, Meta? Yes, I know about it. Herbert looks over his shoulder and is pleased with how fascinated Folken is. You seem like nice guys, or at least you, Folken, no offense. I'll tell you what, I can tell the guards that you are with me. If everything goes well, they should let you enter the castle together with me. Once we are inside, we can sort things out. Oh wow, that will be great, right, Meta? Meta stays silent. Such an offer is unexpectedly nice, but having it that easy just doesn't sit well with Meta. Besides, he doesn't want to be responsible for anything that could happen to Heribert in the worst case. Suddenly, Folken catches sight of something ahead and stands up. What's going on over there? At the edge of the forest to the left is a man standing all alone. It's unclear what exactly he's doing, but as they get closer, they see an arm on the ground with a net over it. What on seconds is the meaning of this? Herbert, please stop for a moment. Folken jumps out of the wagon before it comes to a full stop. Meta checks out the situation from inside first before getting off the wagon. Whoa, look at this. It becomes clear that the animal has been caught by this man, and it looks like he's draining some sort of energy from the animal. The sight angers Folken. Even Meta despises such people. Hey! Unsure of how to react, the man observes Folken and Meta, who approach him. What do you want? Stop that immediately! Folken walks towards the man without regard of defense. Not a wise move, but Meta doesn't mind it too much this time, because there is no imminent danger, and in the worst case, he will have Folken's back. Huh? Stop what? Exactly. The stranger is a human man with silver hair and blue eyes. His clothes are stylish, but he wears no visible accessory. He emits a confident aura, even though right now he looks more irradiate than anything else. Stop hurting that animal. I don't know what you are up to, but you will have to let it free. Let it free? Boy, what are you talking about? I'm Ervel, member of the Collectio faction. You'll tell me to stop, but this is my job. Why don't you leave the two grown-ups, huh? I don't know what about this Collectio faction, and I don't care. What you're doing is wrong, and I will have you to stop this. I know them. Sadly, most of them are just sadists who enjoy hurting helpless animals. There are only a few of them who are brave enough to battle the real dangerous creatures. Pissed off by this statement, Hervel releases his magic and gives his undivided attention to them. Come again? Oh, now you are really done it. The man steps forward to confront Folken and Meta, as if marking his territory. Where do you think the food on your plates come from? Yes, I capture creatures and sell them on the market, but I'm not a sadist. What the man explained sounds very logical. Everyone has to earn their coins somehow. But Folken was not aware of this kind of job, and he can't just stand by and let his cute animals suffer. Well, you won't have this one. Absolutely bewildered, Hervel stares at them with no clue of what's going on. Are you being serious? Do you not hear what I said? We did, and you heard him, so step aside. Irritated, the man estimates his chance against the Chu. He isn't sure whether they are magi or not, but even if they aren't, his magic isn't sweet to fight Chu opponents at the same time. With heavy legs and regrets, Ervil starts walking backwards toward the forest, but having to leave behind such a costly catch makes him mad. Alright, you can have your little victory, but I won't forget this. Meta keeps a close eye on him, as soon as he's about to disappear inside the forest, Folken hurries to the animal to remove the net and set it free. There you go. The animal seems to be doing much better now that it's not affected by that man's magic. It pushes itself off the ground and floats back in the air where it belongs while making squeaky noise. It's a whale. It circles around Folken and makes a full stop at his side to get caressed, which Folken happily does. What a cute animal! Have you never seen one before? Folken shakes his head, but he is too occupied petting the animal to be ashamed about it. It's an alposus, an herb that lives in the sky and usually only comes down to eat the leaves from trees. But besides that, I don't think there is much now known about them, as they aren't captured often and their living space is hard to observe. Having had its full share of endearment, the pulses glide off into the sky and Folken waves it goodbye. This was a nice experience. Thank you for your support, Meta. I didn't know you were also passionate about animals. If you live in the wilderness for as long as I did, you start to cherish each and every creature nature has to offer. Well, now you know. Slightly embarrassed, Meta returns to the wagon. Folken takes another look at the pulses in the sky before returning to Herbert. A whale, a flying whale. That's interesting. Herbert has waited patiently and gives them both a commendatory nod as they return, and after everyone has settled back in, they continue their journey towards the castle. After a short while, they arrive at the front gate of the castle. Let me only save. The damage from the Great War is still visible to this date, and it doesn't look like there has been much effort made to repair any of it. There are 2 guards next to the gate and several more on top of the walls. As Herbert drives close to the gate, he is confronted by one of the guards and prompted to halt. The guards here don't look as bulky and stylish as the one of Doman, but it makes one wonder which one to be more afraid of. Folk is now getting more and more nervous, wondering if these really have been such a good idea. Are they just going to let them pass? The more that he thinks about it, the more he wishes to simply be stopped and deny entrance, so that they can return to a safe spot and rethink their strategy. What's your reason of visitation? My name is Herbert. I have announced my arrival for trade purpose. The guard turns his head around to the other guard in front of the gate, which takes out a scroll. After checking the content of the scroll, the guard nods to confirm the state reason and knocks on the gate to have it open from the other side. While the enormous and creaky gate opens, the guard does not let Herbert through yet. Instead, he points at Folken and Meta. What about them? Herbert turns his head to look at what he's pointing at and stays as natural as possible. Oh, these Meta and Folken. Are they with you? Herbert makes a face of how obvious this should be and makes a counter question to prevent him from having to lie. Can't you see that? The guard takes another look at those 2. The guy with white hair might be his guardian, while the other guy could be his slave. Nothing suspicious. Alright, you can leave your wagon here in the corner. The other guards will have an eye on it while you are inside. Follow me when you are ready. Herbert does as he's told and descends the wagon together with Folken and Meta. He whispers something into the ears of the horse and hands the reins to the guards. Meta isn't sure if he can trust any of these. It was almost too easy. He tries to stay cool, but he can feel every single heartbeat. The one that isn't calm at all is Folken, but that shouldn't be suspicious if he's seen as a slave who has never set foot into a place like this. They walk to the guard that gave them the order as he guides them inside the castle. As they walk into the courtyard of the castle, they can't help but be amazed. Even though it doesn't particularly look beautiful, it's the sheer size and the large space that are impressive. There are a lot of guards here, but most of them don't seem to be doing anything. It looks like they are waiting for the day to be over. This way, please. They follow the guard through the courtyard and are being watched by numerous other guards. We are headed straight to the throne. Hearing the men talk about the throne where presumably Darga is, Folken's heart skips a beat. Is it your first time visit the castle? Not really, I've been here prior to the Great War, but much has changed since then. That was before my time. I bet this was once a flourishing place. That the place hasn't been very much cared for since back in the days, and the damage from the Great War hasn't even fully been repaired. I barely remember. Besides, it looks fine as it is. They walk to the part of the castle that looks like a mansion within the castle, and the guard pushes against the large door that opens with a squeak. After you. Herbert walks in first. The moment has come, and it's scarier than ever. Folken and Meta enter the throne room and try to prepare for the worst. The guard follows them closely and shuts the door behind him. Finally, we reach to the to the castle. Together with Herbert and the guard, Folken and Meta enter the massive hall that serves as the throne and hearing room for Darga. The size of this hall cannot be emphasized enough as it's well decorated. There are magical spheres and crystal-like formations that produce an artificial light. The wings on the side are huge, and there are even few windows on the roof. The cards in the colors of Darga's banner lead up to the throne itself, where she sits with crossed legs, almost lackadaisical looking. Next to her stands a lady with pink hair, and a fiery orb is dancing in the air next to her. Seeing Darga now after what she did yesterday feels met with burning anger, and he has to pull himself together not to instantly attack her by pure urge. Herbert makes a bow, making him look even smaller, but Folken and Meta don't, which immediately draws attention to them. Wait, I recognize those shoes? Her deep voice echoes through the hall with subtle vibrations. What are they doing here? Confused about Darga's question, the guards brought down their swords and point them at Folken and Meta. Instinctively, Folken holds up his hands to surrender while Meta grabs his weapon, readying himself for combat. Reading. It should be reading. Why would you let them in? Unsure of what he did wrong, the guard points his hand towards Heribert. Apologies, they came together with him, my lady. So you just let them in? She makes a loud sigh and rolls her eyes, while the guard tries to make excuse. How do you know them? They are unknown to me. I saw them yesterday while I was on my own. Doing the thing you took care of? What is the meaning of this? To think that they had the courage to come all the way up here after what happened yesterday. Lauria still doesn't know what has happened the day before, but for this shoe to be here smells of retribution. Oh, I didn't know. I'm sincerely sorry for this misunderstanding. It's alright, it doesn't matter. It saves me time to search for those shoes. If you came for vengeance, I'll have you to disappoint you. Knowing that she's right, Meta calms down and raises his hands. Hear us out first. We didn't come to pick a fight. We would like to ask you a few questions. Questions? Her ever so dangerous eyes rest on Chu. The thought of what question they might ask amuses her. Alright, let me hear your questions. Slightly, Folken glances over to Matt, who is clearly thrown off by her permission. It already feels like a tiny victory. Matt has a few questions in his mind, but one of them pushed itself uncontrollably to the front. Why did you murder Master Ortaf? His voice is full of anger, but he tries his best to restrain himself. Dara sighs again, having to explain her actions annoying. The old man was a manipulator, and someone who pulled the strings behind the scene. He has shaped his previous disciples into weapons, making them strong enough to challenge even us. One of them was the only person ever to inflict a serious wound on me. You see, Ortaf and his future schemes had to be stopped anyway, but I have to admit that it was more of a personal grudge. What schemes? How do you know that? Dara pauses. She knows what the question is aiming at, but it's not as easy to explain. The old man had a good standing and reputation even before the Great War, and it excelled further during the war as he participated in many battles. With the end of Great War and the appearance of the magic weapons, his deeds during the war became insignificant. What is got to do, if anything? How dare you to interrupt Lady Darga? It's fine, Lauria. The old man had a good connection to a lot of noble C-class magi who were not amused about this uprising of magical items, so they decided to do something against it. They created the Cluster Corda, and the old man was one of the co-founders. Okay. What? How do you know this? I lived there for years and never noticed anything. That's because you didn't want to see. Folken didn't know Master Otaf that well, so this story could very well be true as far as he's concerned. For Matt, however, this information is mind-shattering. Since the Great War, the Alphas managed to capture a couple of those members. Believe me when I say that the Consulate has the right techniques to bring forth either information. Meta shakes his head in disbelief, but deep down he knows that she's saying the truth. Is that all? With a brief silence, Folken looks at Meta, who has only delved into his thoughts. I also have a question. You? She gives him a fierce stare. You look awfully similar to someone I once knew. What's your name? Intrigued for what Folken wants to ask, he shyly tells her his name. Folken? So you are his son, I knew it. She stretched out her open hand towards the guards with a swinging move. Execute them on the spot. What? More guards are now closing in on them from outside. There is no possible escape route, they will have to fight their way out, which is highly unrealistic. Wait! The unexpected troops makes the guard wait for further instructions, while Laurie Point puts one of her hands on the right side of her head as if having a headache. I'm receiving a telepathic message from the Consulate. Even Mighty Darga patiently waits for Lauria's reaction. After mere seconds, Lauria bends over to Darga and whispers something to her ear. It's impossible for anyone in the room to make out a single word. What? Are they serious? What are they talking about, Meta? I have no idea. Be prepared for the worst. Well, then let's execute the one with the white hair. Stan, Folken and Meta look at each other. What? Why only me? Folken doesn't even know what to think anymore. Should he be relieved to be spared? The girl with pink hair bends over to whisper to Dark one more time. Dark gives her an annoyed look. I'm not allowed to kill either of them? Visibly irritated, Dark gives out a loud sigh. This nonsense! Then I will at very least put both of them into jail and let Destiny decide whether they live or die down there. Jail? I guess we should have expected as much from such a person. Regardless of whether Larius will stop her again or not, she continues to give the order. Activate the hoist mechanism. Suddenly there are clicking noise of big metal chains and the ground beneath then starts to rumble. The platform they are standing on abruptly starts to lower itself beneath the ground. There is no way to escape as it seems they are directly being descended into the prison. Even if they would overpower the guards, there is no way of getting back up to the throne room, which will be a bad idea anyway. Okay, so it went bad. So this is a prison. It's like a gulag, right? It seems like it's like an arena, right? Like that. So save. At a fair height distance from the ground, the platform stops moving. From this elevated point of view, Folken and Meta get a good picture of the prison. It's a circularly arranged prison with a decent amount of cells. The cells are closed off with flames instead of metal bars. The ground in the middle consists of metal grid with a few foot bridge, and below the grid is a pool of fire which can probably be adjusted to torch the whole room if needed. The exposed heat of this place already causing Folken and Meta to sweat. Why do we stop in midair? Before they can get accustomed to the new environment, the guards suddenly push Folken and Meta off the edge of the platform. While Meta tries his best to push against them, Folken is already falling off the edge. But Meta is not strong enough and he too falls down on the grid. It's like a prison arena that it seems that they're gonna need to do something there. The fall is hard and for a few moments Meta lies on the ground with his eyes closed. That is until he feels the burn of the hot metal on his skin, making him stand up in a second. It's so hot that the sweat is already dripping off his chin. He looks for Folken and sees that he's still lying on the hot metal grids. Worry helps Folken up and is surprised to see that the grid did not leave a burn on him. Because of ice. That's why. Wake up, Folken. He shakes him a few times to wake him up, which surprisingly works on the first try. Huh? Suddenly a loud and deep alarm starts to ring. What's going on? They hear the shouting of people calling them over to them. Following the origin of the shouting, they notice that the fire bars of one of the cells have been turned off. It's clear that they are supposed to go into that cell, and they should do it fast before the whole room is scorched. With Folken's arm around his shoulder, Matter happily turns to the open cell before it's too late. Jesus. So there is always time that they need to go inside the cells. Is what it seems. Flames from below the grid have risen and engulfed the whole middle area of this prison. Any living being left there will be dead now. Luckily, Matt and Folken managed to escape the death zone just in time. The fire bars of this cell have turned back on. There is no escaping, and even if they could get out of this cell, then where to next? The square platform they came down with has gone back up. The cell is small for the amount of people it accommodates. There are 7 other people with them in this cell, and they all look at Matt and Folken with distrust and scrutiny. Of course. Insecure, Folken turns to Matt. What are we going to do now? What can we do? This always did not turn out the way we hoped. We have to face up the fact that we failed. Folken looks down. He has already realized that much, but hearing it up front is still devastating. But no need to lose hope and give up. Maybe there's a chance to escape this place. Let's try to stay calm. His words are only slightly comfort, but Folken is willing to follow his advice. He looks at the other prison face and reminds himself to be careful. Time will tell how things will play out. Okay, so we have to talk with someone here or Meta. Let's talk with Meta. Folken notes that Meta's turned his back at him and is staring at the wall. Meta? There is no reaction. Folken waits a moment before thinking about calling him out one more time, as Meta suddenly turns around. Folken, come check this out. Huh? He positions himself right next to Meta to look at the wall. There is an inscription tablet mounted on it. Take your time to read this. This appears to be the prison rules. Surround the feasters. As soon as the alarm rings and the fire bars of your cells go off, you must fight in the arena. Win fights in the arena to move to the next cell. There can only be one winner for each battle. Leave the arena after the fight or you will be scorched. Do not fight in cells. To win off the final cell will be granted freedom. Okay. Folken reads it carefully but isn't too sure what to make of it. What exactly does this mean? If these rules are real, then there is a way out of this prison. As I understand it, there are battles held at any given time. Where we have to fight against the other prisoners. If you win enough times, you can win your freedom back. You don't want to stay inside this prison for the rest of your life, do you? Of course not. The thought of freedom is relieving, but something seems off. Why would they grant freedom at all? So we have a chance to get out of here if we win our battles? Yes, it now also makes sense why they haven't taken away our weapons. But there's one problem. The rules say that there can only be one winner. Meta turns around towards the fire bars. I plan on winning my battles. What are you trying to say? I'm saying that you will have to find a way to win your own battles if you want to get out of here. And it's also best if you surrender. Should we be fighting in the same battle? I don't want to hurt you. The words are harsh, but Folken sees the big picture. Oh, I think I understand. I won't be in your way. He tells Folken not to team up with Meta and to likely get separated from him. With a bad cautious, Meta averts his gaze. Is this really the best way? He doesn't know the answer himself. It's going to be okay. We'll both make it out of here eventually. The comfort words make Meta heart ache. He should be the one to comfort Folken, not the other way around. Yes. Let's try to get some rest. It's been a long day. Folken agrees. They sit down on the rock-hard ground, leaning their backs on the wall. Okay, so we're gonna have to fight. It's gonna be flight. There is no bed, no chair or anything soft to sleep on. Folken is mostly accustomed to similar circumstances. For Matt, however, this is going to be rough to live through. He needs to stay strong. Walking around almost aimless, Sarek begins to wonder what he's doing out here. Oh, we are following now this guy. Huh. Interesting. It's not like he can force encounter a powerful rebel to engage in battle. Those things only happen if he actually knows their whereabouts or by coincidence. What a dull night. He looks up into the sky, the stars are shining beautiful tonight. I guess I should return to the city and call it a night. He's just about to turn around as he suddenly spots two people closing in on him from the meadows. It looks like they are specifically aiming for him. Confused about what's going on, he stands his ground and carefully observes the two as they come close until they are close enough to see their face. Okay. Whoa. Look at this girl. Okay. And then there is someone behind her. The one at the front is Elgort. Elgorts have pointy ears, similar to those of elves, but as long and much sturdier. The most prominent features are the many slight glowing dims in their bodies that look like shattered glass. Yeah, you can see this. Elgrots can have the dimples in different colors and in different shapes. The color of this one is yellow, and their skin is a bit grey. Her relatively short hair is deep red and partly covered by a hoodie. She has two scars on her face, a vertical one over her eye and an horizontal one over the nose. Their teeth are unusually sharp. She makes a playful impression with her grin and her unrested behavior. She looks like a fearsome fighter. The other one at the back appears to be her polar opposite. He's a human boy, probably around the age of 14. He looks almost too normal, except for his heterochromia eyes, which are green and yellow. He seems to be the calm type and is totally unfazed. So you are Sarek, huh? Sarek doesn't even take forth his pile of wanted papers. Surely he will memorize faces like this, but they are totally unknown to him. You already know, huh? And what are your names? My name is Yuka, so this is Yuka. Sarek tilts his head to look at the boy behind her. And the kids? Who are you calling kids? This guy perplexes Sarek and makes him wonder if the boy really is calm type. Trust me, you do not want to provoke him. Concentrate on me. Sorry, but what is it all about? Are you all out for a fight? You can have it. Isn't it ironic for you to be confronted like this? The same way that you usually confront those you are searching for? I don't care, this just makes the day finally worthwhile. But you do seem to know an awful lot about me. Who sent you? Delgrot starts to hop left and right like a boxer, and she brings her fist close to her face. Don't worry, you won't live long enough to bother. Oh yeah, we'll see about that. Sarek is about to launch for an attack when suddenly a lightning bolt strikes down the woman, but instead of hitting her, it somewhat absorbs her until she is completely gone. It all happens so fast that Sarek doesn't even comprehend what exactly is going on. Meanwhile, the boy stares at him as if nothing special happened. Much too late, Sarek notes that the girl is now solid behind him. Whoa, look at this. This is fucking amazing. Too slow. And you can hear the noise of the thunder. Of the shock, it's better to say like that. Even without turning his head, he can see all the lightning bolts furiously charging on the ground around him. Something is about to happen. Wave of pain. For her incantation, she stretched her hand towards Sarek to unleash a large net of lightning open on him. It happens too fast for Sarek to evade, not to mention react at all. He can only watch as the lightning net completely surrounds him, and as soon as it touches his body, he immediately struck by electric shocks. The pain it inflicts is strong for something seemingly so trivial, and Sarek can't keep standing anymore. He falls to the ground and tries to bite through the pain. Pah! That was too easy. Look at you, the mighty Sarek imprisoned by my lightning net. I'm kind of disappointed. She begins to laugh out loud, almost forced. The back and forth between her emotions is unnatural. Then she takes at the end of the net into her hands, as if she is holding a bag to drag Sarek around. The electric shocks do not affect her at all. What are you doing, Yuka? I'm taking him with us. He's my trophy. Our orders were clear, Yuka. Don't you remember what Kaeri? There you go, Kaeri. That is after Sarek, and Sarek said that if we knew about Kaeri. Don't you remember what Kaeri revealed to us about this man? He's dangerous. Even though he says those words, it doesn't sound scared at all. You calls up the lighting net even higher for demonstration. Don't worry, she Mort. What can he possibly do now? To support her argument, she buried the tip of her foot into Sarek's stomach, who writhes in pain. See? The boy remains silently silent. He thinks about the idea, but he doesn't openly approve just yet. But with the argument set aside, the trio now set off, dragging their captive along with the net. Meanwhile, Sarek is constantly being struck by electroshocks, but he has listened attentively to their conversation. Thoughtfully, he contemplates the name mentioned. They know Kaeri? He tries to smile, but the pain prevents it. This is getting interesting. Maybe they will bring me to Kaeri, or perhaps direct to their boss. But with the constant electroshocks and with him being dragged through the dirt, he knows that it's just a matter of time before he can suppress his inner demon any longer. He just hopes he can hold it all out as long as it's needed, giving his true enemies the illusion of having captured him. So it seems that Sarek has some hidden power. That's why Kaeri said to kill, but Yuka doesn't want to kill. Let's save in here. Interesting. So this Sarek is more strong than everyone believes. What's going on? Folken wakes up to the loud alarm and is startled by it. All the priests are rushing past him. Meta grabs him by the arm and pulls him towards the arena. The fire bars have been turned off. It's happening, Folken. Our first battle. He drives Folken to the corner of the arch before letting go of him. Listen carefully, I'll try my best to win this. You should stay back and observe the powers of abilities of other prisoners to give yourself an edge for your next battle. Scar Folken tries to hide in the corner and nods at Meta. At the same time, he notes another prisoner crouching behind Meta. Watch out! Just in time, Meta manages to turn around and deflect his attacker. Having staggered for a second, Meta unleashes his short sword and hits the prisoner in the back of his head to knock him off. Then he falls to the ground and Folken is in awe of how well Meta handles this intimidating situation. He looks to his left where he sees the blonde man from his cell leaning against the wall with no intention of joining the debate at all. In the meantime, Meta has defeated another prisoner and others have also already fallen from their duels. Excluding the blonde man and Folken himself, there is only Meta and one other prisoner left in the arena. With the muscular and bulky body mass of his man, it's not surprised to see him still standing. At first they are only eyeball to eyeball with each other. Then the bulky man attacks Meta with his fist. Meta, however, is too agile for the heavy swings. He happily weaves around him and sinks his dagger into the prisoner's back. The man makes a painful moan right before kneeling to the ground. Meta knows very well that the inflicted wound will not kill him, but it should hurt enough for him to stop fighting. After a minute of no one really moving, a loud voice suddenly echoes through the arena. Losers, return to your cell. All the prisoners who have lost the bet start to hobble back into the cell. Only one of them stays on the ground and doesn't move. Folken looks around wondering if he could somehow stay with Meta, but the guards are probably watching and the risks are too high. As Folken returns to the cell, he gazes at Meta, who stays behind. What will happen now? The firebars start to vertically blaze again. The battle is over. Winner, move to the next cell. Just right through the flames, can Folken observe how Meta walks into the cell next to him. He has won his fight and moves up to the ladder. But in hindsight, they are now separated. Folken looks around. Some of these priests are only light wounded. They should be back to strength in a day or so. Others won't heal so quickly. It becomes more and more evident that he's not going to leave this prison as fast as he had hoped. With not much to do, Folken goes to the only person he deems trustworthy. The nobleman is steady to the stab wound of the bulky man who lost to Meta. Hey, I don't believe I've introduced myself yet. My name is Heller. Oh, I'm Folken. Would you hand me that little ball over there? He points into the corner of the cell. There are a few small balls and herbs on the ground. Yeah, sure. He kneels down to pick up the ball. It's hard to tell what the content is. It smells like a mixture of her hand and mud. Folken hands the ball to Heller, who then carefully applies it on the wound. I saw that you didn't participate in the fight. That was a wise decision. It's better to be careful and observant. Use your brain, not your muscles. Folken remembers seeing him watching from the sideline. He didn't fight against anyone. Is that the same reason why you didn't participate either? Not at all. I'm here because I chose to be. I have no ambition of winning these battles. Huh? Why not? Simply say there is only one lie with the rules. If you win all the battles on here, you aren't granted freedom, at least not the way we think of freedom. Instead, you will be annexed to Darkest Force. You'll be forced to become one of her soldiers. Ah. What? How do you know? Because I know someone who has left this prison and is now part of her army. We got captured together 2 years ago. You have been here for 2 years? At least I think so. It's hard to keep track of dates without seeing the sun. To Folken, the explanation makes total sense. They will never let people out of this prison unless they have something to gain from it. If it's true what you say, then I have to warn Meta. The one who won the fight? I don't think that will change his mind. He seems like a stubborn kind of guy. Still, I need to tell him. Good luck with that. Yeah, so who wins goes to the Darkest Force. So that's a lie in there. Hell stands up and goes back to the next prisoner to check whether he needs medical attention. With the conversation apparently over, Folken leans back on the wall to think what is next move. Oh, we only have these. I don't see anything else, right? Yeah, so only this one. Only the interrogation point. Wondering what time of day it currently is, Folken walks to the fire bars. The roaring sound of the flames dampens anything else beyond the firewall. He puts his hand to his chest and thinks about Meta. What is the pain he's feeling? Is it loneliness? He's been alone for almost all of his life, but now being separated from his first friend, it tears him apart. Folken looks at the fire and thinks back to those times when he was walking around naked because the fire had destroyed his clothes. That happened because he fell over a campfire. If he remembers the fire not having hurt him, can this really be? Is it because of these magical abilities he is yet to discover? The memory is from so long ago that he isn't sure whether it's really happened or not. He holds his hand before his eyes with a controversial idea and with Meta in the back of his head. Maybe he could try it again. If it works, he will be able to walk into Meta's cell. Imagine his facial expression. The flame, however, are extremely hot and Folken is somewhat scared. But you have the power of ice. In the end, curiosity gets better of him as he moves his hand into the flames. At first he's surprised not to feel anything, but then a soaring pain etched through his hand and arm. He instantly pulls his hand away from the fire and looks at his hand that now has a burn mark on it. Ah! He shakes his head through the hair, trying to cool it off. Why didn't it work? Secretly, he looks around to see if anyone has noticed, but no one has. Then he stares back to the flames. Maybe it's because these flames have much higher temperature than the ones from the campfire. Still, he feels like he has some sort of resistance towards it. It would probably work if he was to jump through it. But thinking about it carefully, the idea isn't so good after all. Who knows what could happen if other priests notice, or even the guards. No, he can't risk that. Folken steps back from the flames and sits down next to the wall. He needs to think of another solution if he wants to see Matt again. He closes his eyes and takes a rest. Folken wakes up in shock to that awful sound. This is not something to get used easily. So they're gonna have to fight again. That's easy to understand. Again? He stands up to orient himself and notices that the fire bars have not been turned off. What's going on? It's a battle of another cell, probably the one next to us. Maybe your friend will win again. Huh? Somehow, the thought of Matt being out there scares Folken, not because he's afraid of him losing, but because he's afraid that Matt will move on to the next cell, where they will be even further away from each other. He stops in front of the flames and tries to see what's behind him. It's hard to perceive what exactly is happening, but people are definitely fighting out there. The fight goes on for a few minutes before the guards order the prisoners to return to their appropriate cell. Folk was wondering whether he should be rooting for or against Meta, but it doesn't matter, there is nothing he can do from here anyway. With battle over, Folken steps away from the flames and sits down. He thinks about Meta and whether he's alright. So we have someone new in here, it's only this one. Okay. Having won his second battle, Meta enters the third cell. He can tell that the opponents he just fought were stronger than the ones before. Naturally, it's only going to become more difficult and dangerous the further he gets. Stepping into the first cell, Meta is surprised to only meet a single person inside. She has the expression and markings of someone who has gone through a lot. So only one person reached to the first cell, and it's a girl. Interesting. Having made it this far means she must be fairly strong. She could even be a magus. She looks at Meta with indifferent eyes. There is no emotion to be seen. Believing it to be the advantage to get to know his ex-supported better, Meta confronts her right away. Seems like I'm your new roommate. My name is Meta. She doesn't react to him at all. Don't want to talk. You could at least let me know your name. At first she doesn't react, but then she puts her right between her breasts under the top and pulls out a piece of cloth. Holding it with just her index and middle finger, she hands it over. Confused, Matt takes the black cloth and looks at the red letters that have been stitched into it. It says Nali. Nali, is that your name? She makes a subtle nod. As he gives her the cloth back, he starts to wonder about her silence. You can't talk, am I right? She makes a hesitant nod. I see. He starts to feel pity for her. Taking the voice away from Magi is one of the worst punishments, degrading them practically to wasters. Matt has never met someone who suffered from such punishment. It's an effective way to prevent Magi from casting magic, because they can't speak the words to do so. Is it magic? Was your voice sealed away or something? She shakes her head with a sigh. Was your tongue cut off? Her eyes sadden and she makes a single nod. That's a harsh method. Either the ones who did this to you were in a hurry, or they didn't have the magical resource for a different solution. Yet the question remains whether it's a deserving punishment for something you did. It's a deliberate, provoking question to see her reacting, but she just looks down and Matt does not get the impression that he is a bad person. Have you ever tried to heal or reverse it with the help of an adjutor? Although I'm not sure if there's an adjutor who offers such treatment. Yeah, thought so. He steps back and sits on the ground to recover from the battle. Anyway, we are stuck here together for now. Let's not be hostile towards each other, okay? Matt raises his head to look at the ceiling and wonders how Folken is doing. Was it the right choice to be separated? But in the end, is it how it is? And Matt will see this through. So that girl doesn't have a tongue. A few days have passed. At least Folken believes so. It's not impossible to keep track of the days. The only indication you have is the interval of the food that is brought by the guards. But who knows, they might not be doing this at a fixed time of the day. There have been few battles during this time, but never to sell easy. Folken immediately jumps up. You never know if it's your turn or not. And this time it actually is. Oh, you're gonna have to fight. Again? The firebars are turned off and the other prisoners are already charging into the arena. We need to get out of the cell, Folken. Hela pulls Folken out of the cell into the arena, but not to engagement range of other prisoners. Instead, he places Folken into a corner. But Folken's resolution is different than last time. After knowing that promised freedom in the rule is a lie, he feels obligated to tell Meta. He needs to win this. Scared while watching the other prisoners fight each other, Folken steps forward, indicating that he wants to be a part of the battle. Hey, are you sure about this? You should stay back. He observes Folken's movement, but it does not stop him. It's not up to him to decide for other people. As he presents himself like this, there is already one of the prisoners going at Folken. He is fairly muscular and swings a knife around. With white slash he starts to attack and test Folken. We manage to evade them relatively easy. The training sessions with Master Taf and Matt are paying off. He firmly takes his father's sword into his hand and launches an attack against the man. But the strike is blocked, and before Folken can follow up with another swing, he is suddenly grabbed by the arm and thrown to the ground. The pain forces his eyes to close, and as he opens them again, his opponent stands over him and pushes his knife downwards to Folken's face. Only with his fast reflex is Folken able to hold it off by blocking it with his bare hands. Ooh, look at that! Ugh. With bleeding and shaking hands, Folken tries to push the blade away from his face, but his opponent is strong and not giving up. In fact, if he doesn't start to think of something, he might be done for. No one is coming to his aid at this time. His hand continues to shake, but his mind is not at comfort, as if his head was wrapped with absorbed cotton. The blade and his head are stretched into the distance, and everything goes black. Maybe he's gonna start to use his power. Enter in contact with the spirit, is what it is, maybe. Where am I? He stands in front of a gigantic ice wall. As he steps closer, he notices how cold the air is. It feels so real. Why am I here? Am I dead? He looks at the faint mirror image in the ice. Is he supposed to see something? His eyes move along the sharp edge of ice until he spots something unusual. Huh? What's that? There's something engraved into the ice. At first, Folken cannot discern what exactly he is looking at, but with enough focus, the shape starts to form into letters. Ice shackles? Suddenly, there is a sensation deep within his chest. The ice block starts to crack, tiny fragments detach and fall down on the clouds. Then everything turns to black. So he learns his first ability. But the cold sensation is still there, and Folken knows that he has spoken those words out loud. As he opens his eyes, he sees the dripping blood frozen on his hands. The knife and the prisoner's hands have also been frozen. Did I do this? The question is rhetorical. Of course it was him. Who else could it be? Horrified, the prisoner stands up and runs off screaming. Still perplexed about what he did, Folken stays on the ground until a hand reaches out for him. Folken, come on, we need to step away. He pulls Folken up in one go. Huh? No, I need to win this battle. No, it's bad for all of us if you lose, trust me. What do you mean? Your ice magic, it's a key to escape this place. I can explain everything later, when we are back inside the cell. Folken is unsure of what to do and the intent in Hallowed eyes are genuine. He seems to have a plan. If there is a way for him and Meta to leave this place, then he must hear it out. He agrees to let the battle go for now, and they both step aside, waiting for it to be over. After a few minutes the battle is over, Folken returns to the cell together with Heller. It's time to have a talk. Because he saw that we have dice power, there you go. Thank you for hearing me out. I just lost my opportunity to catch up to Meta. I hope you have something realistic up your sleeves. Of course I have. What do you take me for? Still have to say that was impressive. I didn't think you were a magus, and to be able to cast magic ice on top of that, exquisite. Seeing a poor blood like you with a weapon like this makes me wonder. Don't tell me you are an A-class magus. Folken thinks about Meta and how you'll be against it to just freely tell people his class, but on the other hand, it's something he wants to boast about. I am. So he immediately says that he is an A-class magus. Hearing this statement makes his heart go faster. Absolutely stunning. Why is that you are dressed like that? Is it for deception? Actually, I didn't know it myself until recently. I always thought I was a waster. Fantastic. The extent of his admiration is a little bit awkward. So what's your plan? Ah, yes. First of all, I'm a rebel. The way he says it makes it sound like it is something special. So, isn't like everyone here a rebel? No, I mean, a real rebel. Folken looks at him puzzled. What's that? Seriously? We are the group of people who are actually operating against the hierarchy and dealing blows against their system of power. I'm not sure I understand. It seems like you are talking about a different kind of rebels than I am. Correct. There is the official rebel group. People who have willingly join our force to act against the hierarchy. We operate in the shadows. Most of us are not on the wanted posters. And then there are those who did something against the rules, like stealing from a mage or helping a slave. Those little things can easily get you marked by the magi and make you a lucrative target for bounty hunters. I think I more or less understand what you are trying to say, but what does this have to do with anything? Well, as a rebel, I have my connections, and one of the guards assigned to this prison is one of them. Things are starting to come together, and Folken becomes euphoric. Whoa, you know someone who can release us? No, it's not that simple. The flame bars are generated with magical items that are operated from somewhere else. There are only few chosen guards who are allowed to operate those. And before you ask, the guard I know is not one of them. But he can deactivate the barrier that leads to the exit of this hole. Which means that we have to somehow stop these flames. That's where your ice magic comes into play. Oh! Once you have stopped the flames, you can move to the barrier and give my man a sign to open it. The path to freedom will be clear at that point, but you can't just walk out like this. This is again where my comrades come into play. He has access to spare guard uniforms to help us blend in with the rest. Then we just have to be cautious not to be caught. Full of expectation, you wait an answer from Folken. What do you think? You wait all this time for someone with magic to show up? Couldn't someone just have destroyed the walls? I'm sure there are people capable of such feats. Yes, but do not be mistaken. They might look weak and crumbly, but these walls have been magically fortified. They aren't destroyed easily. Okay? Well, there is one problem with the plan. Is that so? Let's hear it. I'm not sure if or when I can do it. The ice magic you witnessed just now inside the arena, that was the first time I was able to cast it. I see. He doesn't seem surprised or concerned about this. Well, if it's a matter of time, that's the one thing that we have more than enough here. Folken knits his brows. This man is right. He has enough time to train that magic spell. More so, it's giving him a perfect target to test with. But what about Meta? Isn't the prison being surveilled by guards? All they notice? No, apparently they only watch occasionally. Full observation only happens during battles, of course. If that's the case, then I have one condition for collaborating. Let me guess, you want to free your friend too? Surprised by how quick he figured it out, Folken nods. On one hand, this depends on how proficient and quick you become with your magic. On the other hand, it's a question of whether there are enough guard uniforms available. But let that be my problem. I will pass on the information. And you should concentrate on your part. Do we have a deal? Even though Folken is not entirely certain this man is to be trusted, if this is what it takes for him and Meta to be free again, then he's all on board. Deal. Excellent. While they shake hands, Folken wonders. Okay, let's save. Ask about magic class, ask about ice magic. Ice magic. Something confuses me about those flame bars. Why is it built this way? Seems like a flaw to me. If they send someone down here with ice magic, then the flames won't stop that person. That is true, but keep in mind that magic you can cast ice magic are very rare. Then what about magic items that can manifest ice? Sure, there are a lot of out there. Also true, but those items have a single specific magic manifestation. For example, such an item might create ice cyclone into the pointed direction, but that doesn't stop these flames, or at least not forever. Someone like you, on the other hand, can specifically shape and aim your magic at will. I think I get it. That's interesting. You're welcome. Folken makes a bright smile. Hel is a friendly and cooperative man. They both have much to gain from this deal. With the conversation at his hand for now, Hel walks to the older praisers to help where he can. As for Folken, he has a single task now, which is to concentrate on his magic and how to use it. So he's going to learn how to use the magic. About 2 weeks have passed. Folken has managed to control the flow of his ice magic. He is now able to specifically freeze off the holes where the flames are pouring out from now. He doesn't know how Meta is doing or in which cell he's in by now, but that doesn't matter. He will set him free no matter what. Hel has pulled out the necessary strings and is now waiting for the right timing. There was a battle in the arena just a few hours ago. That's the time slot when the guards are least likely to be watching, as now after the fight everyone is back in their cells and have calmed down. The escape attempt starts now. Hell gives Folken a nod, giving him a sign to begin. Time to escape. Time to run. Folken, who is already standing near the flames, put his hand on the wall next to it. Blockade. The magic is released from within his chest, channeling through his arms and hands, and spreading across the wall. The brick starts to freeze one by one. The process is slow but efficient. The freezing travels downwards in a column, aiming towards the holes in the ground from where the fire is coming out from. Even though it can't be seen from here, the old fire channel in the ground gradually cools down and starts to affect the first flame. It begins to feed and thin until eventually it stops completely. The hole has been completely shut off with solid ice. Folken repeats the same thing with the next two flames, making the gap big enough for the people to hop through. There is no need to suppress the flames more than this. Carefully, the few prisoners walk past Folken and through the gap into the arena. Folken is the last to jump through, and as soon as he lets go of the wall, the ice rapidly melts down and the fire roars out of the hole again. Things are happening ethically, and Hell approaches Folken to give advice. Search for your friend while I give the signal to open the barrier. Folken nods, clockwise he walks around the arena to find Meta. First he visits the second cell and starts to call for Meta, but he doesn't answer. Instead, all the priests are being alerted and beg Folken to release them. But Folken knows that he does not have the time to save everyone, and besides, does he even want to? Most of them are probably here because they did something bad. He proceeds to the first cell and calls out for Meta. Folken, I'm here! Glad to have found him this quickly, he immediately sets to work by placing his hand on the wall and repeats the same process as before. What are you doing? I'm getting you out of here. What? How do you? He introduces himself as he observes the bricks starting to freeze. He understands at once what's going on and how Folken escaped from his own cell. Meta turns around to look at Nali. It feels wrong to leave her here. She doesn't deserve this. We're gonna have a choice, right? I think we're gonna have a choice in here. Come with me. Empathetic, he stretches out his open hand towards her. She stares at him with big eyes and looks astonishingly in awe. With a mix of shyness and caution, she grabs Meta's hand, and together they jump out of their cell. Folken. Meta finds himself admiring Folken's work, and his growth since then saw each other last time. Folken doesn't say a word. He's overcome with too many emotions and his eyes become teary. He would love to jump at him for a hug, but he knows that there is no time, and it's all probably inadequate. This way. They hurry towards the exit. The barrier has already been deactivated. They can see a narrow and dark path that leads straight ahead. There are two guards in the dark hallway. One of them is talking to Rahelor, the other one is lying on the ground, apparently unconscious. Behind them is a pile of guard uniforms, and the prisoners have already begun to dress up as one of them. Realize what's going on, everyone else does say. There are enough uniforms for everyone. Hell kept his words. After a short moment, everyone is dressed like one of the guards, making it hard to recognize who is who, but that doesn't matter now. All that matters is to safely get out of here. They walk down the dark hallway to a stair that leads to the outside. As they ascend from the prison, they find themselves in the courtyard of the castle. They didn't expect it to be night, but that might be favorable for them. There are a few other guards around, and a few of them stare at the group. Are they suspicious? How are we getting out of here now? Leave it to me, just follow me. Together they walk to the gate, where they are confronted by other guards. Headed out? Yes. He takes a piece of paper out of his costume and shows it to him. Should be back soon. The guard doesn't even take a good look at it and pulls the lever to open the gate. Folken wonders what the paper says. Is it real assignment or just a bluff? Nonetheless, it works and the gate opens with a low growl. Playing it cool, the group walks out of the castle into freedom. Wow, we escaped like that. After they are safe distance from the castle, the people finally start to rejoice and throw away their costumes. With fresh breeze blowing into their face, some of the prisoners tear up. Who knows how long they have been imprisoned. At last. He looks into the distance, suppressing his joy. He makes the impression of someone with heavy responsibility. This is all thanks to you, Folken. I'm deeply in your debt. Oh, I mean, you and your friend played a big part as well. Nicely done. Listen, if you ever think of joining the rebels, come and find me. We could lose someone like you. That's a generous offer. Maybe I'll take it in the future. That's all I can ask for. He makes a friendly bow. It was a pleasure. I hope we meet again. They wave each other goodbye, and they all walk off in different directions. Only Folken, Meta, and Nelly remains. So, now it's only us again. He spots the purple hair behind Meta. Huh? Who is this? Meta turns around to check as if he wasn't aware of her presence. Oh, this is Nali. She can't speak, her tongue has been cut off. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. I'm really tired. Let's find a place to rest. Let's visit the Elfin village. I'm sure Tisneva will be happy to see us. Meta stays silent. The last time they talked to each other, Meta did not talk kindly to her. He still thinks nothing of what they did, but maybe he regret during their last encounter. Okay. What about you, Nali? Want to join us? She first looks at Meta as if seeking his permission, then she gives Folken a nod. Perfect, let's go. They begin to walk towards the forest. It's actually not that far away from their current position, making it a prime choice for a quick rest. It takes them less than an hour to reach to the forest border. The trees of this forest are old and strong. Some of them are exceptionally tall, and the biodiversity is not to be underestimated. Walking along the narrow path between bush and trees, they can spot the lights from the village in front of them. Closing on the village, they are suddenly urged to stop by one of their guards. Who are you, and what do you want? He has an arrow pointed at them and does not seem to be nervous. Tisnab offers us to visit her. We are looking for a place to rest. After a short evaluation of how likely his answer is, he shouts Tisnab a name, who then probably arrives at sea. She immediately recognizes Folk and gladly gives them access to the village. Welcome to my hometown. Whoa! The village consists of several small houses that are connected to each other. In the middle of its pure pond and glowing fireflies make the place look magical. What a great place, I'm sure I could get used to this. I'm glad you like our humble little village. I hear that you are looking for a place to rest. You came to the right place. The house to the right is available for guests. You can stay as long as you want. That's so nice of you. You all look very tired. Let me prepare the beds for you. Content and humming a song, she hops away towards the guest house. Her happy nature makes Folken smile. Folken. He makes the face of someone who's trying to share his thoughts or emotions. I'm truly impressed and proud of you. I can see this steep growth curve that you have achieved, and it's remarkable. Hearing these words from the man he looks up to the most, Folken tears up. Thanks, Meta. This really means a lot to me. No, it's me who needs to thank you for helping me to escape the prison. Don't mention it, you'll have done the same for me. Meta looks down, wondering if what he says is true. I know things didn't turn out as we thought, but I'm glad that we saw this through together. We are still alive, that's all that counts. How do we proceed from here? Let's first take a rest and use the night to think about our future. We can discuss our next moves tomorrow morning. Folken nods, he tries not to show it, but he's exhausted from casting his ice magic. Of course, using magic, it's hard. And for someone that needed to train a lot. Together with Meta and Ali, they are to the guest house. Like 2 weeks training the ice. There are several beds and tables. Tisneva has readied them all and put food and water on the table. The water is gulped down almost instantly as if they hadn't had any ideas. They chose their bed to sleep in and make themselves comfortable. After wishing each other good night, they soon fall asleep. Only Folken keeps his eyes open for a moment. He thinks back on all the things that happened during his first adventure. They have successfully made their way to Darga, but .com was ultimately a flop. The dire situation inside the prison, however, helped him to cast his first magic spell. In the end, everything went okay and they all have their freedom back thanks to him. The thought warms his heart. With a soft smile, Folken falls asleep. This is the first calm night he has in a while. Chapter 3 Roots. So chapter 3 will be called Roots. To be continued. Thanks for supporting me. Be sure to come back for the next chapter release. But they don't have a date for chapter 3. They don't have a date because I don't know many developers. I don't know many, but I know it's a small indie team. I think it's a small indie team. It's like characters by it may show lots, but I think it's freelancers. I think that they hire to do the work to help a little bit. But I think the team is small. Like maybe they have connections to certain people. I think because if it I have to say if it was a big team. I think they will release by chapters. I think they will release in an entire game. Is what I will think. But I can be wrong. I can be wrong. But overall, like the game is good. Like the story is not like some other games that start slow and then goes action, slow action. This now is like start a little bit slow, right? Talking about the backstory of Meta to understand a little bit. Then at the same time, then a little bit slow, right? We are going to the town like that. But then we have a lot of action, like always action. It's not like slow action. No, it's like slow action, a lot of action, then a little bit slow, then action again. So that's what I like because if you have a lot of slow, it's like you get wasting a little bit time. Is what it is. I think it stays like this black screen. You can press ESC. Oh, if I press right mouse button. Yes, I need to press right mouse button. Back to the title. Do you really want to exit? Is this going to my menu, right? Yes. Doesn't have nothing like to bring to the my menu. I think they should like show the credits, right? That show the credits and should bring to the my menu and not stay in a black screen. I think they need to work in that. Okay, you end the game, right? It shows what is gonna call the chapter, show the credits and bring back to my menu like other games do. I think they need to do that because a player can get scared, think it is bugged. So, but they need to do that. It's a thing that they can do it during the time. But yeah, like overall, the story is very good. Like they explain a little bit of the backstory of Meta and Folken. Like you understand a little bit who is Folken. Like he was a thief, and then he met Master Ortaf and Meta. He trains. He doesn't know nothing about this world, right? He doesn't know about the magic. He doesn't know how works the magic spirit. How you know about that? And we see that then he starts to want to know more about that. How he can be. At the same time, he starts to know who is his father. That is Fearson. He understands that he's a poor blood. That both of his parents were A-class magi. So meaning that they were strong. At the same time, we understand a little bit of his main power because he has ice and fire, but his main power is ice. That's why he can use ice. We understand a little bit of other two that maybe on chapter 1 both meet themselves, right? And we understand a little bit of other that they are from royal sector of that city. And we know that Ada likes Folken. We don't know if Folken likes her or not. She tells that you can read about his father on the library, on the books too. We understand who is this elf, Tisnaeva, that is a rebel, but not like Heller. That it seems there is two types of rebels, right? Those rebels like Tisnaeva that is try to save slaves like that, and Halo that is to take out the hierarchy. Those are difference between those two rebels, and at the same time we understand about Darga, why she killed our master Ortaf, and at the same time we understand why she hates Folken, because she faced Folken's father, Fearson, and that she has between on her chest, she has like a medal with lava in there, so it shows that why Darga hates Folken. Now, there are certain characters that we don't know yet who they are, like Laria, right? Who is she? Because who is she? Why she's there? Sarek, we saw that he was captured, but he has some spirits inside him that nobody knows. Who is Kyrie or like that? Kyrie or like that? That he wants to find Sarek. And who are those two characters? That they work for that Kyrie, like that, that's called. One is Yuka, that has that is strong, but there is that kid that we don't know the name, we don't know his power. But yeah, like, overall, good story, they explain everything. In terms of artwork, very good, like I always say, visual novels need to have good artwork, so it has a good artwork, the game. That's one thing that calls always attention to me, that is having good artwork. Longevity, very good, like I always say, between 2 to 4 hours. So that's what I say, always 2 to 4 hours if they have multiple endings. In here you don't have multiple ends, you have choice that will lead to different paths. So because only has one ending, I will say between 4 to 6 hours. You can see the gallery, you can see the scenes that you have and that you missed. So you can see the scenes that you have, and I missed some that is different paths that you need to choose. Those are different paths that you need to choose to see the other scenes from the gallery, is what it is. But that's a good thing to see how much you miss it at the same time, and if you want to see it at the same time, the scenes in there. So yeah, like they don't they have on Steam, you can buy the game. Chapter 2 on Steam is already available, it's only €3 and something. If you never played chapter 1, you can buy a bundle. They have a bundle with chapter 1 and chapter 2. So it's always like, if you never played this game, the first one and second, you can go there and buy the bundle. Like that you can play from chapter 1 to second chapter. Like that to understand the story too. Now is like the chapter 3, of course, like I said, maybe it's a small indie team, and so they don't know when they're gonna release the chapter 3, but at the same time they only released this week chapter 2, so it's gonna take some time to make the story, to make the characters that will appear, right, to do the artwork, so it's gonna take some time. I don't think it's gonna be this year that's gonna be released. I will imagine, it's like, in my perspective, I would love to be this year, but at the same time we need to be realistic. It's impossible to be this year, so I would love to see next year the chapter 3, because like that you have in your mind yet a little bit how the story went, because if it passed like 2-3 years, you forget about that. So that's what I hope. Like, I would love to be this year yet chapter 3, but to be realistic, I would love to be next year, like that you still remember a little bit of the story. Because if it passed 2-3 years, I think people forget about the story, and it's like not the interest vanish, but they're like, why it took so much time to release, right? That's one of the issues when you release games episodical. It's one of the issues that a lot of people don't like, because people can forget the story. Is what I will say. Other thing that I will say to developers, like they need to be more active on their Twitter and on Steam forums. They need to be more active. Like, okay, they are like putting news about what they fix on the game and what they are trying to do. Okay, that's being a little bit active. But on Twitter, on like if someone asks something, they need to be more active about around that, to people to, okay, they are active, they talking about, okay, let's talk about chapter 3, we are working on that, we are expecting to be released on X year. Being like that the player knows, okay, they are active, they are talking with the community, like that. It's one thing that certain indie developers don't talk. They are not active on their social media on Steam. It's one thing that makes people get away of those games. So it's other thing that I'll say. Then of course there is some like grammatical issues in there, but that they can fix during their time. So it's nothing like, oh my god, they need to fix that. No, like there is no issue about that. They can fix that during the time. And at the same time, there is sometimes that is certain character that should be talking and it appears narrator. They need to change that too, because I saw it 2 times only, so they can change that too in with time at the same time. So yeah, good game, a good game. When I saw it, I knew it was a good game because of the artwork and the story. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the full playthrough of Rebels Under the Spell of Magic Chapter 2. Again, if you have the first one, you can buy already the Chapter 2. If you never play it and you are a big fan of visual novel, you can buy the bundle that brings Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. If you are not a big fan of visual novel, I'll say give it a try, because I think you're gonna enjoy it because of the story. There is action, there is comedy, so there is everything that you want on a visual novel. So hope you guys enjoy, and see you guys next time.